Anyway, chat. A little bit of behind the scenes to catch everybody up. And I'll have Ruby introduced as well. So we kind of met each other because when this game dropped 2 years ago, year ago, I ended up finding it, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, a cute little, you know, very cheap top-down twin stick shooter, right? And we don't have a lot of them lately, right? We have Monolith, but we have, I don't know, if you want to go oldies, we have Gungeon, you know, and stuff like that. We don't have a lot. And I was blown away. It actually made my game of the year list. At the end of every year, we compile a list of the top games of the year, handpicked by me, because we go through about 350 to 400 games a year. And this game made my game of the year list. The enemy design and all of that stuff made me so happy. I was like, wow, there's so much variety here already. And let me pull you up.
SD on a weekend? Hi, bro.
Yo, what's up? Wait, why can't I pull you up? Why can't I? Oh, there we go. Yo! All right, sound check, chat. Tell me if I need to make them louder, please. Hold up.
It's me.
Chat, how much louder do I gotta make them? Or lower me? Talk to me. So this is what it takes for a dev to show up? Your numbers are way higher than mine? What are you talking about? What the? You think that's air you're breathing now? You think this has anything to do with numbers? What the mook?
Are you powerful enough to give me a Discord stream, or am I like watching the stream with delay?
Oh, no, yeah. No, I see what you're saying. No, we could. Let me know how that is. Turn up a bit. You're loud enough. How about now? Say hi again. There you go.
Hi. 1, 2, 3 test.
What about now, chat? Is the game loud? I'm loud. He good? Oh, it's an in joke. Okay, my bad. The first time chatter. I don't know you yet. I'm sorry. Sounds good.
I can also see game. Cool.
Oh, hell yeah. What is this game? I never heard of it. We got Ben Star in the house, chat. We got a lot of sick devs here. This is gonna be a great opportunity. This is gonna be fun.
Who is Ben Star? I never heard of him.
I never heard of Ben Star either. Who the hell's that? Wait, I got
chatter too.
There we go. Yeah, also first time chatter. Yo, Keebs. All right, so I was doing a little introduction. So we kind of met each other back when I found Tiny Rogues. It was very organic, you know what I mean? I was just playing the game, doing my thing, doing the game doctor thing and the misfit thing. And we looked at it and I was like, yo, this is good. Like you remember I was blown away by the enemy design and the patterns and stuff. I'm like, wow, this is fresh. It's like different enemies and all this cool stuff. And I was blown. Hey, do you have some suggestions what tree to go down here? I was thinking about hitting one of these, base movement speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's boring. It's just stats.
No, that's good, baby. I'm taking that. Yo, speed up the early game.
Yeah, like that's fun, I guess.
This one? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The one above is also good.
Which one?
Which one above, the glasses. Yeah. Secret Service.
Floor 1 to 10 are guaranteed to contain at least one secret room each. Damn.
You can combo this one with the if you look on the bottom left, there's one that reveals all secret rooms.
Yo, Ruby, they want you a little bit louder. Can you turn yourself up in your Discord boost?
I can see. Yeah.
I have you at 200, and it's probably my fault.
Output volume. Is it better?
How about now, guys? How about now?
Hello. Is it better?
You guys let us know. Give us a thumbs up.
20% on there. Dude, I love starting with the plus 5 XP, like the super head start.
Plus 5 XP.
Yeah, like
but then you need one more? Right.
Yeah.
It evens out, right? It evens out.
It's like 1 XP delayed, basically.
Okay. Oh, okay. So
it's like, but yeah, like you can go like super head start early with like +5 XP, and then you get the ebb and flow that you have now with like less rooms early. And then there's like the easy mode on like, it's like the left branch, or like the, what's it? Southwest, I think.
Down here.
Which like almost, you almost got it. I think the tree needs a search function, by the way. That's
No, it's cool. I mean, when it gets bigger, we know we talk.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like it's easy. The icon says easy mode. It's
oh,
like,
literally.
You just. I figured it's a nice perk, and it's like not really power creepy because it's just floor 1, right? Like,
right. Yeah, you speed up the early game. Speed up the early game a little bit.
People actually kind of like see it almost as a downside note. They say like, I don't want to spec this but they want to get the stuff that's behind it. But yeah.
I never heard a deeper game voice than yours. Yo, how is that, Dev? Okay, cool. We got a lot of people here. This is what's up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, SD, you were just lucky that you were just like nice enough to my game that I then got interested in game consultancy, and then like,
yeah,
you went from there, right?
Yeah. We could talk about that too, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't know who I am, or maybe just learning about the game and stuff, or about this update. Because I had people come in here like, wait, update, and I'm like, damn, I've been talking about this forever.
I feel like
who should we run?
The update is like,
chat. Anybody you guys want to see?
I mean, chat can decide. Wanderer is fun.
Bro, I mopped the game yesterday with this guy. Like, I mopped the game. It was crazy.
Sounds like it, yeah. I feel like Knight is, if you like struggle with defense and like in your first runs learn new patterns and so on, like Knight is so good.
Yeah.
All the 3 new basic classes, they got like a defensive mechanic, because I figured you're gonna like unlock them first, and then like you still learn the game. So like Ranger gets an evade, which refreshes after time, and then like Sorcerer can kind of stack up the soul arts, and Knight is probably the most defensive, getting
let's do this.
So like, yeah, let's do this one.
Okay. Yeah, so I remember I found the game and I was like, damn, chat, like, because your game was like, it was like an arcadey price, you know what I mean? It was a little, it's cheap. So I remember playing it, not expecting much.
It was not like, it wasn't Vampire Survivors level.
Right, but it was cheap.
It was pretty cheap, especially because I like to give discounts. Like,
yeah,
I always joke that anything below or like above a 20% discount, below a 20% discount, is not a real discount, right? And like Steam agrees with me. They send out the email only if there is. So then it's like often on sale. It's not on sale right now because it kind of messed up, but
right.
It was even cheaper. So then it kind of hit the crowd of people that came like from Vampire Survivors, and like even though the game is completely different, you know, but it kind of like capitalized on that. So that's very.
For people that don't know, you can't just run a sale whenever you want. I know a lot of people don't understand that. Steam doesn't let you just run sales whenever you want. There's timelines and cooldowns and stuff like that. So that's what they're talking about. That's what he's talking about. So yeah, when I first found the game, I didn't expect much, but I was blown away because the enemy variety and the patterns and stuff were really freaking good. When you play a lot of these top-down shooters, it feels very like, kind of like cheap in a way, like very enemies that just kind of walk at you, and they're kind of boring, and there's not a lot of variety. I'm not going to name a lot of other bigger, even top-down games that came out this year that had some hype around them, and then when you feel it, it's like, there's not much here, right? So I was blown away. I was like, holy crap, this is really good. But I remember some of the things I hit you with early on was like, bro, I don't really like the items or anything in this game, right? Like, I remember saying that to you. Like, I'm like, it's cute, but there's not much going on. You remember that conversation?
Yeah. Like, honestly, like, our first talk was, like, I mean, we had, like, just, like, get to know each other in the first. Yeah. But then it was kind of, like, talking about that. And, like, I just didn't, I think, in my tweet today, I kind of called you a rubber duck.
Yeah.
Like, in programming, you talk to your rubber duck, and then while you talk to it, you figure out your problem just by talking to it. And like you're kind of that, because like I think it really clicked then when we like started to like talk about like my love for action RPGs.
Yeah.
And then you were like, so like, what do you like about like making a build in Path of Exile? And then I'm like, this item synergizes with this, and then you get that keystone and so on. And then like basically, I mean, you always said next day I woke up and I noticed it because basically like Tiny Rooks didn't really have that. It's just like a kind of like, in my opinion, boring stat ups, and now it's kind of more, more action RPG with a lot of synergies, combinations, and like.
Yeah, dude.
So like really just like talking about that, and then like because it always like slumbered in me already, right? Like I know what I enjoy, but like I guess I couldn't translate it yet, and then like the conversation like made me aware of it.
Bro,
and that's
it
like
was
the
so
power
cool.
It's like the power of consultation, because like very often I feel like we as devs, we know already what's going wrong, but then like we find either like good excuses for it, or we like don't acknowledge it. Like, so like we know how a good item system looks like and feels like from playing other games, but then like we say my game is like fine enough, right? Like I don't know, and then but deep down you kind of know it's not fine enough.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I do remember that first conversation vividly, because it meant a lot to me the next day. And I remember talking to you like, bro, like it's possible. Like we just got to work with like activators and stuff, because I know you were worried a little bit about like the random pools, and it was just gonna feel bad. And I remember like planting some seeds that before that night happened.
I mean, I actually got like I read one. Like the entire activator word, like I feel like I never heard that before. Like
right,
we are coining this term like activator.
Yeah.
Like I read a Steam post today. It wasn't a review. It was just a post, and somebody was like, "Oh my god, I've never played something like this." Like and he described how he was playing a gunslinger, and then he got a glove slot that when you are standing still, you gain attack speed, and then a few floors later, he got the Nimbus Cloud, which makes you always standing still, and he's like, I never experienced something like this where like items build on top of each other like that, and like they activate each other, right? Like, and so when we started talking about that, like I suddenly noticed like every number, every toggle, everything that I can like use as an activator kinda. So now the game is doing that, and it's doing that in the background, and I feel like it can be confusing to some people because they sometimes find an item and they're like, this is useless. But then like if you would just like pick it up and carry it around, and like
and all of a sudden you see
like you own this item, and then like, oh my god, right? So like that
it feels really good when that happens, right? Too. And I think people love that. I think people resonate with that.
Yeah, the term, like just like talking about it from the game design perspective also kind of helped the code, the programming, right? Like, so like the game literally keeps track and activates certain things. And I don't like talking about it too much because it takes you a little bit away from the illusion. But
right.
So like right now your character is like actively flagged as activates bow, and then like anything else marked with like requires a bow, like your quiver, will then appear, because like so that's kind of like smart loot kind of deal, and
yeah,
I feel like it's working like really well, and it's also not overly strict, so like you'll still find daggers or random stuff.
So
like,
it'll try to just edge it in your favor.
Yeah, it can take you on a journey, it can edge it to you, and like it's like I feel like it works really really well, and
yeah,
I'm
dude,
really happy with it.
It really, I remember when we talked about that too. So chat, the main goal here was like, yo, we could spice up these items so it feels really good to make builds. Like you're cooking. You guys all, if you guys played the update so far, it feels really good when you start coming up with these ideas that feel like you came up with them. And that was by design. When we set out with it, like one of the best feelings that we talk with, and I know action RPGs, I heard, meant a lot, obviously, to Ruby. He plays a lot of action RPGs. Like, he loves that feeling when you're cooking up something, right?
Like it's like, as a player, you go through kind of like a journey now, where, like, at first you obviously, like, everything is new, you don't know much, like, there is, I mean, we can talk about problems maybe later, or we just celebrate today, whatever,
No, go ahead.
There's a lot coming at you as a player. So first you just learn and like things exist, right? And like,
Right.
but then eventually like I got like this Discord goblins that already have 300 hours in the update, and they like, you know, when you know everything, then you just play autopilot and the run takes 35 minutes and like you make like actually awesome builds like in an ARPG. But as long as you don't like know it that much, the game more like takes you on a journey, which is fun too, right? Like, so yeah.
Yeah. I think that's one of the best parts, right? Like, that's kind of like the future I talked about in our first conversation. And we were laying down the groundwork, and I said, bro, you can have that in your game where people are cooking and stuff. We just have to do things like what the new trend is these activators. We called it activators. And he's like, so you didn't really understand it at the first. 'Cause I kind of use my own lingo when I talk with like, you know, people that I work with. I have like my own language and stuff. And I come up with my own words sometimes. And I was like, yo, we got to build it on activators. So I started explaining it or whatever. Activators, like and then it's like, oh, well, what happens when, you know, it feels really bad when you get like 3 drafts and they just are all random stuff that, okay, this only applies to lightning, and then you have no lightning and it just feels bad. And I said, well, you know, you could just cheat, right? Like you just weigh different, you know, you just add different weight to different things and you can make it work no matter what, right? There's ways to cheat. And
I was also like kind of scared. I feel like,
yeah, I remember
like,
that.
You know how you talk about devs that like you release your first game and then reviews come in and then maybe like, I mean, for me, there are so much positive ones, but I still read the negative ones, and then like as a dev you like start chasing the negative ones.
Yeah.
So like there was like people saying, I never get stuff that's good for like my build, and then like I started like worrying and like it like fostered the mindset for me, right? Like so now like at this point, like I've heard it enough and like I'm kind of aware of it, so like I'm not catering to my negative reviews anymore. I feel like I'm kind of like evolved beyond that right now.
Yeah.
But that's like definitely, and you know, it doesn't matter that like you find something that doesn't work this time. In fact, that like the fact that you find something that doesn't work, it like increases replayability, because then you're like, oh my god, there's like an awesome lightning set. But I'm like not playing lightning right now, but maybe next run, you know, like.
Yeah.
And so like it's just a good thing, and like as devs we are kind of scared to have players run into like these quote unquote negative experiences, but I mean.
But we don't. Yeah, it makes you appreciate like the hits and the good ones.
Yeah, when it then hits the high roll, you know, then it's like, oh my god, this is perfect for my build, you know. And then,
I love that. Yeah, I remember a few times, and I think that's where like another benefit comes in, where like you would hit me up and you'd be like kind of like worried or in your head like, hey, you know, people are not gonna like it or whatever, and I'm like, dude, stay the course. Like no matter what, you're gonna have people that are reacting or upset or whatever. But if we do it just right, like every time they whiff, they're gonna hit like on the next one. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna whiff a draft, and then it's gonna feel really good when the next one connects. You know what I mean? It's gonna add to it. It feels even better. And it seems like people are resonating with that, you know?
I mean, reception has been. Let me just watch you play that rock.
Oh my god, dude! Dude, so this is a new boss, right? Like this is insane.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
I repaired. Like by now, everything is fixed. I did 2 hot fixes today. So like you should be. You unlocked the floors because you played offline yesterday, right?
Yeah, I played offline. It was great.
You got levels and everything. What was the question? What?
I don't even remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Chat, hit us with some questions. We got everything. You can ask me questions, direct them at Ruby, find pick brain. Feel free to you know, we'll give it to the chat, the floor. Feel free to ask us some, you know, anything your heart desires. But I know a lot of you have been looking forward to this update.
It's really good.
Yo, I just took crushing hit.
Yeah. Oh,
with,
wait, really?
with two-handed. Look.
Oh no. Well, that is not that good. But
it's not.
It's still the best choice.
Grant 100% crushing hit. Oh, I see what you're saying. Because I have crushing hit,
but
so it doesn't do anything.
This one is pretty busted for ranged weapons because like bows are two-handed. Yeah, the game is made in Unity. And I'll also make my next game in Unity, and someday I will pay for it, and then you all can post this clip on my Twitter and love But I'm really happy with you. Like, I just like working in Unity, and yeah.
Dagger and throwing weapon. See, like, so this is kind of like what we were talking about, chat. You see how, like, when you could see these items, and this is what we were going for. We're like so many different. We could play this so many ways, right? We can grab this and, like, you know, eventually try to re-roll this perk. Actually, I just got a lot of die. Hold up.
Oh yeah, you got one of the obsidian ones. You could just re-roll.
We could just re-roll, right?
Take the ring, yeah. I'd take the ring first, and then I'd
You
re-roll.
think re-roll?
Yeah.
Loving the changes I'm seeing. I haven't played the update. Yeah, so one of the things was we didn't a lot of wait, why do I only have 2 inventory slots? My
I think
difficulty?
you're playing Cinder. You have Cinder modifiers on.
Oh.
Which is smart. I recommend Cinders because you level up like a ton quicker.
Right. I'm gonna reroll. I love all of this stuff, by the way. There's so many options.
You know, the dice are clunky. They are in like a bag. And like, to me, I noticed, why the fuck did I put them in a bag? Like, it's just one more click. But then I'm like, it's kind of cool to have them in the bag. You know, it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons.
I agree. I like it.
Play that. But like, I was on McQueeb's stream yesterday, and he'd asked like, is there like plans for like an Isaac extra hard where like you can see more? And like, I'm already thinking that's like a great idea for like an option. Like,
see
show more stuff in the HUD, but like don't show it by default because I think it would be kind of
right,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
We talked even about
cool
that, right? The
that,
information overload and all that. It was cool.
Oh yeah, like, cool. And I think that's the #1 critique of the update right now, which is like, honestly, like, people give me too much leeway. Like, there's like 0.1% negative comments right now, and like, so like, there's like no negativity at all basically. But when people complain about something, it's like, you know, it's overwhelming, or it's too much, or it's just like, I like the simplicity of the game previously and now it's too much for me.
Right.
Which...
And we planned for that, right? Like, we talked about it earlier.
Yeah, I feel like the fact that we planned for it like helps a lot of people out, and then for some other people, like it takes a few runs, but then like when you get back into autopilot, it's really not like, I don't wanna how do you say, I don't wanna like, it's not bad mouthing is the wrong.
I know what you're trying to say. Yeah.
But like, I don't wanna tell them they are wrong, but I just wanna like encourage them to like try it out, and then like eventually you get into the flow state and you know some of the keywords, and like also, I mean, it's complicated. Like, I'm watching Alexa play, and he's like made 2 videos now, and he got a very interesting play style where he's like, just like, I'm a warrior, and if he says sees like a mana thing in the description, he like won't even bother reading it because like, I'm a warrior, you know, I can read this item at some other point, right? And I feel like that's like a really smart approach to like get through it.
Right.
I was really surprised by that approach. So like, there is many things, but I don't want to like make excuses for like information overload. Obviously, there's things I can do. There is description that we can rephrase. Like, it's very wordy everything, but I've been working so much, and after 400 weapons, some descriptions are gonna be jank, and the game isn't done yet. It's still in early access, and I feel like
that was another thing of like that we got to focus on, is really like, hey, these are the priority things. Yes, the information overload, or yes, this, but like how to structure the priorities. Like, hey, you don't have to worry about this. Yes, there's gonna be a couple people that are gonna react, right? The onboarding is gonna be a little bit harder. It's gonna be information, right? But like also being there to encourage you that like, dude, this is part of a greater good though. Like, yes, it's a little bit of negatives, but that's not just a bad thing if it's for a greater good. You know what I mean? Like, infinitely, it's an infinitely more interesting game, and it's going to be a little scarier at first, but like, look how much deeper and more replayability there is. And then we're also taking strides to like make it more approachable at the same time, right?
I'm gonna answer this question real quick. If there is the plan to add the auto aim mechanic to the mouse and keyboard, and yes, I feel like it will be like super fun when I add that finally, because some weapons, like, they really love the auto aim, and it's just a comfortable way to play. So I definitely want to add that it works. And it's also kind of confusing because the option is in the gameplay, in the gamepad menu right now, but it also works when you just play without mouse, so like keyboard only. So like
Right.
there's some stuff, but yeah, it's coming for sure. It's like pretty easy to do too, so I hope I do it too.
Dude, one of the things I loved about working with you, like we would always talk about stuff, and like, so if it was gonna like push you out of your element, you'd be like, I don't know, man, it's gonna be like a little bit of work, like it's gonna be a little tough, right? And then you would always hit me up like the next day and be like, all right, I got it working. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Like you would always push yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep doing that. I
Yeah,
guess.
you would always push yourself. It was really cool. You'd be like, like it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. And then you would like find a way or learn how to do it, and then you would feel so I could hear it in your voice or like how you messaged me that you'd be like so excited after you figured it out, because you could tell it was like a little bit outside your comfort zone, or you'd have to learn. But then you'd be like, bro, like okay, I got this working. I'm so excited. Like, and it was cool to like always be there to be able to like kind of just push you a little bit, or like push you outside your comfort zone, or like remove a blind spot, because like I know it would be like towards the greater good, and then I can always feel you like lit up after, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, and like I feel like sometimes I'm like I feel like you don't think this of me, but I feel like I'm a bad student.
No, I don't, but
you know,
go on
like even yesterday before release, when you were like, you should like put a gif of the companions in, and then I'm like starting to discuss with you and argue like that's not important and so on. Like it's just the same thing over again, right? Like I don't easily give up on my opinions, and you do neither, but like that's like I feel like the
No,
magic
yeah, it's
happens
part
there,
of
and then,
it.
like in the end it like what was better because then I added the gif of the characters at least, and like that was a really good idea. And like even today I immediately implemented the Cinder change because I was hotfixing anywhere, and it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
And,
big
like,
part of it, yeah.
And I want to go back to like a previous topic, which was like the complexity went up of the game, and like we or I mean,
Yeah.
let's say just 99% me, but like you played your part in it, whatever. I don't know why I'm going in on this sentence so much, but like we knew that we have to then provide the information too, and so it's kind of like a good problem to have that there is too much information, because like the reverse, in my opinion, would be infinitely worse if there is like a million status effects and a million activators, and like you just don't know what shit does. Then it's like then it's over, right? So like at least like I got one comment where somebody was like, I love this, it's like the wiki is built in the game, so like that's like somebody who really appreciates it and is not overwhelmed, but then other people are overwhelmed, right? So
Yeah.
But I think it's a good problem to have right now. And
Yeah, I remember, and you guys, you know, I made it a huge deal. Like, dude, if we're gonna do this, like, information is king here, right? And like, I know I stressed that, and you got it from the shows too. And you're like, I know, I hear you in my head. Like, I'm working on it. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that, like the information could be a lot, but the gamer in the end is so grateful when they can get the information that they need. And we've come from other games that are great. You know, we play Path of Astra and games like that. If you guys don't know it, check it out. It's a phenomenal game. But there's so much frustration and confusion when you can't play the game and get the information you want. I don't know what synergizes with what. Does this activate this? I don't know, right? And then you'll ask chat, and chat will have 3 different answers, which shows you that they don't know either, right? And so there's a blind spot there where you can tell that it's not being communicated, that we can't actually play the game because there's a lot of confusion, right? We're all kind of just guessing and hoping. And I remember stressing, bro, the information, yes, at first we're gonna have a problem. There's gonna be information overload. Yes, we're gonna deal with that, but we need the information, right? Otherwise it's infinitely worse.
And it's like the first step is to acknowledge that you need to give the information. And so like I'm at that point now, so, and even beyond that, I have given information. But now I just like notice how hard it is to like be consistent and phrase it in a good way, because like if you then are consistent and it's consistently awkward, then it's just consistently awkward. And then like even with me, like I put it in the trailer that the game is consistent wording now, and then I still miss wordings, and they're oddly a little bit different. Honestly, your class is the best example. You start with a head that gives range damage and a body armor that gives range damage, and both have different phrasings. And I don't know how, like it just happens when you like make that many descriptions. So like, I understand the Path of RubyDev. There is a shit ton in that game too, right? But like, it's a work in progress, and then like. I am Path of Exile brain, so like a lot of things that seem worthy to other people don't seem worthy to me, kind of deal. Yeah. So then it's like like personal things come in too. But I'm very hopeful that I can like remedy or fight it, because like the worst part is if it's a blind spot, right? If you make a game and you information overload and you don't even know that you're information overloading. But I kind of like, I have my people, I have you to at least like lift blind spots, and then we can start to work on things. Like,
exactly.
The worst part is just like the blind spot, right? Like when
once you can see it, you can do something about it.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So like for example, I'm also aware now, like, and we talked about this, that like the runs are a little bit long right now, and like you can kind of see it because people are putting out YouTube videos, and it's kind of like 1 hour 20 video and so on, and like I watch your runs, and while you interact with chat, it's like a 2-hour run. So I'm like, but at least I'm aware of it, right? Like it would be
exactly.
It's always just about eliminating those blind spots as a developer.
Can we just appreciate the punchiness of this draft, by the way, chat? An hour and 20-minute video. Who could that be? Yo, can we drop some love for Retro? Long time to see, man. Happy holidays. Yo, can we just appreciate the punchiness
of more videos than yours, Retro, that are that long. So yeah, but also like the meta progression, it can kind of speed up the game and stuff. Like, so like there is cool shit that you can do.
What is this?
It's definitely. So this is like a new thing you unlocked because you defeated Death, because you defeated Megadeth before, I think. It's work progression, and like this adds lawful. So this is like kind of like the new alignment system thing. Should
I grab the lawful thing?
Yeah, definitely. Like it's a good. Honestly, I can't like this feature is kind of not done yet. But I ran out of time. It's like supposed to be like. It's heavily inspired by like Isaac Devil shops and so on, right? And the idea is that like you go into these shops, and then you like get new stuff, and then like you change your alignment, and then when you progress beyond the final boss, then you can go into different gates. And obviously like if you want to go deep into hell, then you gotta be like an evil motherfucker, right? So that's the point. But like I want to like put more interesting shop things there in the future. It's kind of like a little bit lame right now. It's just like you go in there, it's a normal shop, you buy everything that you get your requirement. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to like talk so badly about my own systems, but I'm not 100% happy with it yet.
No, definitely. I mean, I think it shows that like your authenticity and like what it really feels like to be an indie dev, and also not have somebody that has your back to be like, bro, like, yes, you're in your head right now, but this is phenomenal, trust me. Like, or yes, you want to do this, it's going to really push the part that you're trying to show off, or the feeling that you're trying to, you know what I mean? And like, I always had your back, like, bro, no, trust me, like, this is good. We're making the best, like, we're making one of the coolest updates here, right? And like having that.
And I feel like the alignment system, like, again, I feel like I really like all the things I can take from Dungeons and Dragons, and like Tiny Rogues was always meant to be this kind of game that looks like and feels like somebody in the 80s made a roguelike and just knew how to play Dungeons and Dragons, right? But it's like an action roguelike. So like the computation power wouldn't be up there, but like I try to make it that way. So like I like the dice bag, I like getting the alignment in there. And right now the alignment, I remember we talked about like, I have never played Slay the Spire, but you told me about like the wall or whatever it is. And like we talked about like unlocking final bosses and stuff like that. And then I came up with the alignment system, and you really liked it, and I really like it to this day. But it's just, right now it's just like a number that gatekeeps you from going further. And like while some like tavern NPCs, the cleric will be like you're way too evil, I'm gonna like drive up my prices, and I'm happy I got it in. It's still not like fleshed out really enough that it feels more than just like this number that gatekeeps me from going to heaven and hell. But again, like I feel like that's definitely something I can remedy in the future. And it's pretty cool. And
it's the groundwork, right? A lot of this was revamping the whole game and setting groundwork that we can keep adding on, right? Wait, what do you think I take here? What do you think I take here?
You're playing like dexterity, right now?
We're going like dex.
Do you have a shield or are you like?
I got rage. We're kind of in this weird transition right now. I have 50% extra weapon damage.
If you have rage already, then I'd pick the echoing fury, and then you have rage and fury, and then like maybe you find like something for rage and fury. And also, I always like seeing maces. Maces are kind of like my like I in the beta, I like buffed maces like 3 times all maces because they're kind of simple weapons. You just basically punch enemies relatively short range-ish. So like I really want to make them good even though they're kind of lame. Like I always like seeing maces, and like it's kind of the same with flails. Like flails are kind of smart flails now, and I just watched Olexa's video and he did a run with a flail. He just found it on floor 2 and then went for it for the whole game. And I was just like sitting here like a little kid, so happy that somebody completed a full run with a flail. And I'm like, so
you're like, yes!
Yes, finally somebody's using flails, you know. Like,
I love how you really appreciate like, you know, your fans and content creators as well. It's like another great thing. Like I gotta tell you, chat, personally, like he would literally hit me up sometimes and be like, yo, I'm so excited, like so and so made a video, or like this video came out and I was watching it and I got so hyped. Like, and it's cool to hear, right, being behind the scenes and stuff. And because I wear both shoes, right? I have the professional game doctor shoes, but then I also have the, you know, I'm out here, I'm a content creator as well with my coworkers and stuff. So it was cool being able to sit in both. And you know, like get you can literally like authentically hear, you know, them get hype, you know, or the developers get hype and stuff. It's cool to be able to experience that from both sides, I guess, right? And you could speak more to that. I know watching people play always, right? It's the same as what the game doctor does. It brings you a new perspective, right?
Like to me, watching people play, and like I don't care if it's a big or small content creator, right? Like I like watch I can't watch everything anymore.
Right.
Like yesterday was already a lot, and today I'm like I really want to watch Retro's video, but I'm gonna go on SD stream now.
Yeah, you were all over the place. You said I remember you were like, okay, I'm stopping
like
in, I gotta run.
Yesterday I was just like jumping around all the streams and saying hi, and but like not just like the content creators, it's also the players, and I have to kind of like almost hold myself back because I'd be like the kind of person that like responds to every single player. And like, first of all, as a developer, you kind of have to not fall into the trap and try to argue with people. Like a year ago, I kind of didn't know that yet. Like I feel like every first dev would do that. Like I even like started to argue with like YouTubers. I remember like writing this like long comment at Retromation where like, well, actually, the stuff of unlimited power wasn't actually a perfect weapon in your run, blah, 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 right? Like, I don't know what, like, I mean, it's just when you're passionate about your own project and you're new to, like, all the exposure, right? Like, it hits different. So, like, right now when, like, fans or, like, players, I guess, like, they direct DM me on Discord, I'm very often like, sorry, I can't respond to every direct message anymore because it's just too much, right?
Yeah, I love that. That's such a real feeling that like everyone feels and everyone goes through, like, right?
As a developer, you just grow a lot, and like for example, also like I got like, it's weird. Like this is like a new revelation to me. It's about I had a discussion with actually like another coach about review spaces.
You're cheating on me. Just kidding.
No, it's
just
like
teasing, just teasing,
kind of coaching, yeah.
Just teasing.
And like they said something really smart, which was like review spaces are not for the creators of things.
Yeah.
They are for the consumers of things.
Yep.
So like Steam reviews are not a place for me to hang out in. Yeah. They are a place for the players to exchange their thoughts, to exchange information on games. It's like because like she told me a story about that she had a friend who writes books, and that she started arguing with somebody who left a bad review on the books, and then it's kind of the same, you know, like the reviews for the books, it's kind of like a place for the readers. And so like right now it helps me a lot to just think about it. So when somebody complains about something in a Steam review, it's not a signal for devs to start chasing and accommodating for that person.
Yeah.
It's more like that person felt something, and that person is felt a need to voice it, and then another player can read that, and if it resonates with them too, then well, they won't buy the game, or they will buy it anyways, right? It's not for you as the developer to start chasing and try to satisfy everybody. And this is also where like having consultancy comes in, because like well, you can't just ignore all feedback, but then like the best thing you can do is just like get good feedback, I guess.
Right, talk with a professional.
Yeah.
Dude, we gotta take a second to like talk about that, because I feel like that's so important, especially what I do. I see this as a huge blind spot for most devs or most games, and I love this because it talks about the culture of the early. I think this speaks to the early access culture. What RubyDev is talking about right now, chat. This speaks to the early access culture, that there's not enough people talking about it or bringing awareness. So it really means a lot what you just said. It's actually big. And so to double down on that, I remember we had a conversation too, where when we talked about like when people react or say like this item sucks or whatever, a lot of times like a dev will hear that and take it personal, like, oh dude, I made a sucky item, or I gotta, right? And I remember I told you like, hey, they're not even talking to you, they're just talking out loud, they're talking about their run.
That's one of my favorite, like, also like things I noticed about myself, like especially when you watch people play and they are content creators and then they are used to talk, like it's just gonna be people play your game, and when they find find an item that sucks, then they will just say this is kind of bad, or like they won't even say that, or they say like this doesn't fit my build, or this feels underwhelming. And as a developer, at least I hear this is underwhelming, I really think this should be buffed, the dev did a bad job at making this item. But then like if I think about when I play a game and I find something that doesn't fit my build, or it's just like underperforming, right, like it's literally for 1 second I feel like, this kind of sucks, and then like my brain has moved on, like there is no deeper thought to that. And then like, but as a new developer, or even as an experienced developer, if you never notice about that, right, like then like you go into YouTube comments or Steam reviews, and then you start to argue with people, and like you really shouldn't do that, but it's all a learning process, right? Like,
yeah, I feel like again, to piggyback off that, another thing that you're saying, like, and like why it could be really good to again have a professional that you trust to like kind of just be in your corner, is that like early access is like a whole whirlwind of like emotions and people just saying what they want, or just talking or reacting to feelings, right? You're gonna get all of it, because just because people are buying your game, they don't owe you anything. They're not there to review they're not there to coach you, they're not there to tell you what's best for your game. It's not their job. They're consumers that are buying a product, right? And so that's a whole nother thing, learning how or what to digest from what people are either saying or reacting to, right?
Yeah, and like, I always like will tell this to you. It's like when you first make your game, like you struggle with so much stuff as the developer, like you do programming, you do art, and you like struggle with the Steam documentation, you fill out their text form, and like you have no idea what you're signing. So like, you know, that's the last thought that you have at that point. But it's no like, but how do I want to say? I want to like say that it's no excuse for not like growing over time. Then so like, I feel like it's very understandable how very many devs have the same behavior. I feel like in the early stages, but then like you kind of like live and learn.
I'm noticing that one of my attacks are actually weak against this guy, so I'm actually swapping over to my other weapon here, and I love that, right? Like that, like it matters. It's like, hey, I have a backup weapon that kind of suits a different need here in this fight. Sorry, I'm just totally changing topics here. I'm sorry. I just want to appreciate the item identity and loot that matters, right?
This is something we talked about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, and like we have there is plans like crazy new feature and stuff that like go even deeper in on this, but now like and I feel like it's gonna be like really cool, and like it's gonna give the floors even more identity, right? And it's gonna like elevate the enemy design, because then like right now I feel like a lot of games kind of have the opposite problem of tiny rogues. I mean, I guess I'm too strategy pilled right now. Like they give you just like the information, like this has health and resistance to this and so on, right? And it's kind of good on that part, but then the enemy does nothing. They just walk towards you, and like tiny rogues kind of is like, this enemy teleports and then it shoots 3 lasers and blah blah blah. But then you kind of don't really know. You don't even know what's it called. What does it like? Does it have any stats that I have to watch out for or could watch out for? I feel like a big part would be just like to get information. Again, like like the biggest thing I learned from you, ST, is just like information. Like right, like that's like the most important thing in a game like this is to give the player information. You're like trying to decide what's the armor on the right.
I don't know if it helps us.
See, like this is like one of those cases where like you can just pick it, and then like you have something that triggers your uncombat start effects, and then maybe you get something.
Right, and then you can build around it, especially when you need it. I think it's armor.
Always, one armor is good, and your
this looks good too, though. No, with the echoing.
Yeah, but I think your shield quiver actually works as a shield right now, right? So like, I mean, I know you're kind of like ego dodging and not building defense, so like, yeah, definitely go for it. I mean, radiant damage is really fun because it like puts the glimmer or glitter, I call it, on the enemy. So then you get lucky hits, and then you can start to trigger stuff, and that's really cool.
Okay.
So
I'll try it.
Good, yeah.
The problem is this ring then has to get replaced because this is single-handed.
No, this is an offhand, the torch, right? Like
so it's gonna go here, but then this doesn't trigger with this, so we're gonna have to replace this eventually.
Why does it not trigger with this?
Because it's only two-handed, and this is not two-handed.
Oh, this doesn't trigger anyway then, right now.
That's what I'm saying. So we could either build more towards this, or I could feel like we could build more towards two-handed, right? So we got to choose here. These are two different paths, I feel.
Yeah, you gotta choose something, right?
And I love it. I love that. That's what we wanted.
Yeah.
Like it matters. Choices that matter.
And it's not even 4D chess, right? Like it's like it's not, do I want to do this and this happens or blah blah. Like it's really just like, do I want this damage thing right now, or do I want a defense right now? And then like
I'll take increased movement speed for now. And again, look how we're swapping items and stuff like that, chat. That's what we wanted. That's right away. The first conversation we had months ago was like, yo, we could do so much more with the items than item identity. And that's how it kind of like spawned. And this dude went nuts, right? Like he went nuts.
Yeah, and it took, and like on the programming side, I had to rework everything. So like that was kind of crazy. And people are like worrying now that, is this game gonna get like this big of changes and updates every update?
No, this
and I'm already saying like, no, bro, like I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to like rework my entire game anymore.
No, that's why we did this though, right? We set the ground for
why we did this,
Dude, to give you guys a little bit of a backstory for people that don't really know me or are new. So after this first conversation, so remember, we didn't do anything yet, and he still, he wasn't fully on board with me. He didn't know who, what I was going to bring to the table. He's kind of like, you know what, I'll try you out. I don't got much expectation, right? And so this first powerful conversation, the first thing was to get Ruby to understand that he could have to believe and see a new angle. Because if you guys remember pre-update, the items were not great. They worked. No disrespect, they worked, but they weren't great. They weren't this, right? That wasn't inspiring, I guess. And then and two, to say like, I heard his love for action RPGs, right? So my idea is not to tell anybody, any client what I love. That's not that doesn't do anything. I want to hear what they're going for and how to make it reach its limit, right? And I heard his passion for action RPGs because it feels really good when you're building stuff and you're putting on different items to build towards something, right? And I heard that. So I said, I already think the items are kind of poor, and what if we combined both these ideas, what they're after, and the vision that I could see, right? Now let's try it out. So I started talking to him about activators. What if we went after activators? What if we, started to build something new that's not what these action RPGs are doing right now, right? And the action RPGs right now are very dated. Yes, I said that. I'm looking at you, Astral Ascent, I'm looking at you games. It's very uninspired. It's 1 + 1 = 2. Grab purple item, grab more purple items. Grab a blue spell, make sure you socket more blue things, right? They're making the builds. You're not. You think you are, but you're not. The game is, right? And I said, dude, we can get way ahead of this. All these games are actually very dated, and we can get ahead of it. Because this is what I do. I'm very plugged in, right? So I remember telling him, what if we did this? What if we socket? Like, what if we play with activators? And he's like, it's cute. It's cute. And I said, you know what? Just sit on it for a little bit. He hits me up the next day. He can tell you this is a true story. So he sits on it, right? He's like, I'm gonna go to sleep with it, whatever. And I said, okay, just think about it, right? Nothing was really resolved that call. That was our first call, right? But we learned how to talk to each other, and he learned who I am and what I'm about, right? He hits me up the next morning. I wake up, right? A couple hours, 6, 7, 8 hours later, I wake up, and I have a DM. It's a true story. I have a DM, and it just says, I hate you for what you did to me. With a Matrix gif of the guy reading the Matrix. He says, I hate you, and he sends it. He sent me a document already. A couple hours later, he said, there's a document waiting. He says, I hate what you did to me. And I click on the document, and it's this huge fundamental rework of how things are going to play out now, and the structuring and the new item identity. Overnight, this guy. And he says, I hate what you did. He's like, I can't even look at my items now. True story, right, Ruby? This dude is insane.
Story. It's a true story, and people might wonder this update should have released in September, but then it was like we started coaching early this. I don't know, but suddenly no calculation was right anymore, because if you have to make a second game suddenly, then things are gonna take longer, right? So I definitely curse. It was literally like the Matrix being revealed, because.
But you ran with it after.
You have to understand. For me, I love playing Tiny Rogues, right? So I couldn't play my game anymore suddenly. So you took away playing Tiny Rogues from me for 7 months. Didn't play a single run because I just knew what it would become, right?
Yeah, you're like, I can't even play, or you're like, my game is crap.
And I did the first full run, and people wonder why the beta started in a rough state.
Yeah.
The first run I did on 1 day before the beta launched, right? And people are like, this game feels harder. I wonder why the dev made it. I shouldn't do this voice. I'm not trying to make fun of these people.
That's
but I'm kind of it's funny in my head, right? Why did the dev make the game so difficult? And then I'm like, I just punched in numbers to get it ready so we can test bugs and so on, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing ready yet. But community helped so much, and I feel it's really good now. There's one room that gets criticized a lot with 3 guys that spin a lot. I get Discord DMs about that. How do I dodge that? And yeah, I can fix that eventually, right? It's just 1 room.
And you're quick with that stuff, dude. Holy hell.
Yeah, I mean.
Dude, I hit this guy up last night. I'm like, bro,
I don't give myself enough credit for how quick I fix things. If I think
that's why I'm there for you to keep reminding you. That's just as important, right? To kind of toot your own horn sometimes, or have somebody to remind you, bro, you're on a good track, or hey, you're killing it.
It's the strength of being a solo developer with I can do what I want, right? When Diablo 4 wants to change something, a developer might also implement it in 2 hours, but then they have to go through testing and QA, and then you know, it has to be localized and everything. And like for me, it's just like I make the change and I push it, and that's like the great thing about my game. I can be responsive, and like people also love that about the game, because you know, like you never have to wait long for things to get fixed as well.
Yeah, you're
But it also has
insanely quick.
downsides, because then you like push like a version where everything is broken, and then like you're like, oh my god, why did I do that?
Like, whoops.
Yeah, oops.
Whoa,
Yeah.
what do we got here? They're boozing.
Yeah.
I love these like little side rooms and
Lazy
stuff.
soldiers.
The lazy
Do you,
soldier.
by the way, yeah, like I love event rooms. They are one of the like first additions that I always wanted to add to the game, and actually that reminds me, like I have like a 2-year-old Google document. I kind of was working on a. Let me tell you a little bit about my
Yeah.
career as a developer.
Yeah.
Before this game, I was working on. Actually, this was before Vampire Survivors 2. I could have like totally been the Vampire Survivors guy. I was working on a horde survival game kind of deal, like a wave survival game, inspired by Enter the Gungeon, which was called Shurika. But so instead of everything being guns, it was like you're a ninja and like everything is shuriken, and like I like playing Bloons TD6, and there's the ninja monkey, and when he like fires 60 shuriken per second, it's like really fun. So I like started making the game. Like eventually it like led nowhere. It was my first like project I tried to make solo, and so I took a break from it to like kind of like refocus or whatever. And so when I need a break, I was like, let's just make a small roguelike. I feel like literally the folder or the project was called like short roguelike, and that was tiny. That was Tiny Rogue 0, and only my friends played it, and you can find it on my itch page, and it's very rough. Yeah, but I have the design document from that still. It's like the nastiest Google document you've ever seen. It's not formatted. There are like blank pages in it and so on. But I'm kind of like still following ideas from back then today. So like there is written in this document, there should be event rooms. You should be able to go to heaven, to hell. You should be able to go to the abyss after heaven and hell. And in the abyss, you'll fight this demon guy and this. So like there is still this scuffed document out. And then until I haven't like implemented everything that is in the scuffed document, the game will be in early access. Because like people asked me last year, why is this game in early access? This has more content than like everything else. But to me, it's like, this game isn't done yet, right? Like, I still have a 2-year-old Google document with like boss ideas and enemy ideas and items and so on, and I really like looking at that because it like shows me how far I've come. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think you showed that. I didn't even know that you were actually planning to do this. This was news to me. Everyone saw it at the end of the trailer. You're like hyping all these other kind of ideas or plans that you have for the game. Give us a little.
Yeah.
Give us a little. What's going on here?
I mean, like that. Basically, just this like kind of roadmap-y thing. Like,
yeah,
you only got the logos for the thing. It's
Insane.
basically just me putting it into 3 expansions what I've planned all along for the game, and yeah, like it's gonna be cool.
Did I hear that right? They said let's take a break from making a game by making another game.
Yeah, it's like making games is so much fun, but then like you can stumble across upon like just tasks and stuff that are not fun, even like while doing the fun thing. So then like taking a break and like starting a different project, it's very fun. Yeah.
I hear that a lot actually, where it's like, oh, you know, I've been working on this for a couple of years, so they like get their brain juices flowing again by working on like a little project real quick or something.
Yeah, like I'm super jealous of Svo or Z. I don't know how we call him. Like he makes a game every year, or is he,
he's trying to.
I don't know his pronouns or their pronouns, but he. And it's to me it sounds great to do that, but like I'm like kind of committed now to like Tiny Rogues. So And I'm already wondering, like, how will I, like, this will be my magnum opus, how will I ever top it, right? Like, every idea I can have, I can put into this game. Like, it's versatile enough that I can put, so, like, now I'm kind of, like, not, like, last year I said this game will be done this year, but now I'm kind of like, yeah, no, it's gonna take 2 more years. Oh, no.
Bro, I need help, man. Where do I go with this build? I think we're going one-hander now. And we're staying melee. Are any of these like
That's a good weapon swap, the first one.
This?
Yeah, just inflict armor break
Oh.
early, and then attack.
I like where your head's at. I like where your head's at.
I like how you started as a ranger and now you're
Yeah! Can we just talk about that real quick? Chat, we started this as a ranger going bows, and now look where we're ended it up. I'm not like super powerful right now, at least compared to the build I had offline yesterday. We gotta pick this up.
Fine. I'm doing fine.
I'm scared.
That's another tip if you want to speed up your runs, like always enter the rooms to the right. Like
Oh,
no
really?
combat room. That's actually a speedrun strategy, like that people found out because like my generation algorithm, it kind of like puts the special rooms always on the right. So then like speedrunners will just always go right and then like just like dash through the tavern, dash through every shop, and then like you can skip half the game and like be way faster, right? Like,
you know, I never
really
even
cool.
picked up on that.
Yeah, it's like it's speedrun tech. It's fun to. It's fun that people actually figure out stuff like that because
yeah, you're probably like, oh, like how are they figuring this out?
Totally.
All right, let's see. I need some help here, man. Periodically mark the lowest health enemy with Rogue's Mark.
Honestly, I don't know what your deck is right now, so
yeah, it's
can
a little.
It's a little right now.
Yeah, I can show you. Enemies take increased damage equal to the reduction of their move. Well, okay. So currently, we're a little bit all over the place.
You gotta go Ice Conjuration. I'm telling you.
What?
Yeah, because you got the Ichor Torch, so then you attack with radiant damage, and then that increases your lucky hit chance. So now you deal lucky hits, and then you shoot ice at the enemies.
Right? Are you serious? Is that really? I have 0 lucky hit. Is that even enough?
Yeah, but they will get lucky hit then.
Increases lucky hit chance. Wait.
Or you just reroll these trades because they're all 3 kind of bad. Like you can go.
Right, we can either make it work or reroll. Adds 2% chance to be lucky hit per stack. It goes up to 10 times, so that's 20%.
20%.
It's not bad. It's not. I see what you're cooking here. I think we roll though. I think we roll.
Yeah, let's roll.
Okay, let's roll. Ah, fudge.
Man, yesterday when you had that aura build, right?
Don't call them bad. That hurts the devs' feelings. I see what you did there. And this is great to poke fun because everyone does it, right? I'm sure every dev felt that type of way where like somebody says something while they're playing a game and they take it personal. We're human. We're gonna do it, right?
Yeah. And also, well, first of all, blunt trauma is really fun with your build, so that's cool.
Your hits with striking inflict instability and trigger a shockwave on hit.
It's really...
That will up my damage for sure. That seems good, yeah?
Yeah, it's good. It's good because like it's kind of like for giving the punch when you like play without a weapon, you play unarmed, and you get like AoE from it. But I also like because I love maces so much. So,
dude,
like,
Retro, actually that's funny that you said that because I had to have a whole coaching conversation with him. And I remember him bringing that up. Like, oh, dude, I'm worried. What if they don't have a strong build? What if this? I'm like, bro, you're okay. You're okay. Yeah. You have, like, PTSD.
Yeah. Like, let me just take this opportunity to say, Retro, I love the videos you make on Tiny Rogues. And I love your... Like, I watch your Archway series, like, once a year. I know it hasn't been that many years since it came out, but, like, it's just, like, so much fun. And, like, yeah, I don't know, like... When you're just, like, people always will tell me, like, you gotta have a thick skin, right? Like, when it comes to, like, Steam comments or Steam reviews too, right? And then like I notice like logically I have a pretty thick skin, but then like this is kind of like my baby, right? So emotionally I'm always gonna be attached to it. So then I have a lot of emotional reactions to it, and but you just like gotta learn how to not like start to argue with people or like take it too personally, I guess, and find other ways to deal with your emotions then, which I'm doing pretty good right now. And like I'm probably like, I don't want to make this sound worse than it is. It's just like very natural for humans, I feel like, right?
Yeah.
And like for a solo dev, it's even worse. I'm sure like Ben Starr has a lot of emotions too when people like
Everyone.
start to argue. Yeah.
Help me out here. Is it worth me upgrading my weapon where I'm going to lose coins for my damage increase? Do you know what I mean? Like, is it worth it?
It's only the coins you gained, right?
Oh!
So,
Never mind then.
Yeah.
Okay.
so you can upgrade. And yeah, I think upgrading is a good idea. You're like kind of settling into a build here.
I see. I'm one gold short.
Rip.
I'm one rip. What do you think about potions? Good power spike here?
Yeah, it's a bit hard with -2 inventory slots.
Yeah. I'll just
it's
chug
always
it.
nice to have, but why not go for strength? Like, aren't
Strength?
you like... Yeah, like...
I have no questions. I just have so much respect for everyone involved here. That's what's up.
Thank you.
Dude, I gotta tell you, man, for the last, like, 2 weeks, maybe even, I've had people, like, pouring in here, into the chat, just be like, bro, I'm getting ready for the new update, or, you know, you've been talking about Tiny Rogue, so I picked it up, and I just been loving it. I had somebody DM me the other day. Thank you so much for putting me onto Tiny Rogues. Like, I bought 3 copies for a friend.
Yeah, like, I have that so often that people say, like, okay, I gifted a copy to, like, all my 5 friends now, and I'm like, you're great. People are so crazy, but...
That's a lot of freaking friends,
it's
damn!
Like really nice from people, like nice one. But also, I could have just like not ticked the early access box and then sold this as a DLC for 20 bucks.
For sure.
Right, like... Oh my god, you're wrecking him!
Oh my god.
Blunt Trauma is doing big work.
Armor break? Armor break? Mace? Help! I don't know this boss.
Dodge.
Just dodge? Okay. Should I get close or no? Just wait?
Nah, just wait.
Okay.
See, like, a thing about the bosses is I usually give them, like... Again, this is where, like, my hundreds of hours, maybe even a few thousand, I'm not as crazy as other people in Path of Exile, really shaped me as a developer, whereas, like, I learned that you have to, like, give melee players the opportunity to be melee.
Yeah.
So, like, every boss I make, I usually implement at least one melee phase, and if I'm really feeling really spicy, I'm trying to even, like, punish you for being at range. So, like the best example is, like, Primal Death or Mega Death, where he, like everything becomes just lightning around you, and you're forced to go close, and then, like, now it's time for me to DPS, right? Like, I feel like that's, like, just a nice thing to do in these kind of games, especially in, like, a bullet hell game, and, like, can you really expect somebody to, like, go hug the enemy in, like, a bullet hell game? Not really. So, like, I try to be very good about it, and you just, like, gotta wait for your timing and then strike, and then the pacing I feel like is pretty good, right? Like, we talked a lot about bosses and roguelikes. And, like,
yeah, we talked a lot about that. I see some conversations coming up nowadays.
Like, I'm very happy with it. It's like one of the things as a developer that you have to learn that is the hardest to learn is the player don't force the player to see and play all 6 phases of your boss fights every run. It's fine if they just fight one phase, and if they have to dodge that one attack and they could have been hit by it, that's, like, perfect. Just, like, keep the pacing up. It's a roguelike. It's not... You're not playing Dark Souls here. In Dark Souls, they have to, like...
Chat, the game doctor is working, baby. We're changing the industry.
Like, in Dark Souls, you go into this boss fight, and, like, it's this big event, and, like, it's kind of like what everything builds up to, and the entire game, and, like, you look forward to, like, fighting with the boss and so on. But like in roguelikes, you kind of like want to move on, right? Like you don't want to be stuck there forever. And I feel like Tiny Rogues, like right now, I'm like very happy with boss HP, like, and especially because the game doesn't have a damage cap like Gungeon has, right?
Right.
It's sometimes hard because people will just literally one-shot bosses. Like I've seen like the Barbarian class, the new one, it can literally one-tap the final boss. And then like, but then to me it's like, does it really matter then if I give it double the HP, because then it's just two-tapped, right?
Yeah.
So like you always have to, like it's a learning process for me to like figure out boss HP, and
Right now it feels
I'm very scared, but I feel like it feels pretty good. And like there's gonna be a new Cinder modifier that like buffs boss HP, and like I'm just gonna make it. And if you don't like it, then you don't like it. But I want to play with a Cinder modifier that makes bosses have more HP, and like, that's fine, right? And I already heard some people on my Discord. They also say like, yeah, it's fine. Like I want that too, right? Like
yeah.
And I wasn't even aware of this at all when I made the game at first, right? Like the entire pacing issue of roguelikes and their boss enemies.
Yeah.
Like again, I came from Path of Exile, where you like fight Uber Elder, and it's just expected that you like wrangle with this guy for like 20 minutes. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
And so I thought like, I'm gonna make a mega boss in my game, and he's gonna have 10 million HP, right?
Yeah.
And then
But you learned the channel, so you know. I got in your head.
Yeah, and like, actually, let me try to remind myself of my own lesson, which is what leads to replayability in roguelikes. The first is information, the second is emergence, and the third is, I call it duration or pacing. And they all kind of like interact with each other, but if you have all three of those, then you basically make the perfect roguelike. Or roguelike.
I'm on edge here.
You're doing
Whoa.
fine. Oh, legendary.
Oh.
Actually, I like, I mean, not to like take away from your legendary drop there, but I want to talk about activators again.
Yeah.
Because I also have like a design thing in my head about activators, which is a simple way to explain it, I guess, what an activator is. And to me, the simplest way to explain it is when, like, let's imagine we turn Super Mario, like the first one, into a roguelike, and then we like look for an activator. So what's an activator? For example, when you have a fire flower, that's like an activator, right? Like when you pick up the fire flower, that's an activator. While you have the fire flower, that's an activator. And like you could like make then effects happen when you have that or not. So that like activates something. And in games, it's in general very often kind of that way, like that you can add new mechanics, and those mechanics then like kind of branch out into other things, and they can activate more things. So like when you add bombs to your game, like in Tiny Rogues, then like suddenly that's an activator. On laying a bomb, something happens, you know? Or like how the mana stars, the pickups exist in Tiny Rogues. It's a new mechanic. It, like when you pick up that mana star, something happens. That's an activator, right? So like you can work with that, and then you can build from that. And when you then get deeper into the activator game, then you suddenly see them everywhere. Like poison stacks up to 10 stacks. 10 stacks is an activator. When an enemy has 20 stacks of poison, what happens then? How do I get to 20 stacks of poison? You know, like everything is kind of like entangled. But then like, I'm gonna be honest, for me it was very challenging to like program the game then in that way, where like the game can handle all that stuff, because that's not like an easy task. That's not something that comes out of the box, right? And it can get very messy when you do it, when you don't plan for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's to speak to too many artors. Some of the ideas I've heard from devs of the upcoming action roguelikes are intense. The new generation of them is going to be wild. You want to think that, But from a professional, from the game doctor perspective, I want to tell you guys that like without the work, without having a professional on your side to remove blind spots and help us progress or help us detach from ideas that have been done already that we're adopting, right? And you see this in almost every game. Without that, our progression is going to be very slow, right? If you look at almost every action RPG that came out this year, they're still like 4 years behind. They're still like 4 years behind. Right? So we're progressing very slowly because that's what happened. And I remember RubyDev saying, yo, having like somebody like you, like a professional, a game doctor, something like that, it's like a cheat code. Because they're there to kind of help you detach from ideas that are just so dated. AFK, got you. They're very dated. And you might think I'm making this up, but look at the market. Look at every big action RPG that we gotten this year. Look at your Astral Ascents or your whatever. These are like 5 years behind because they're using ideas that are also dated from like 5 years ago. Now, that wasn't those devs from 5 years ago. They did the best they could and they hit. They did great ideas. They did great. What happens is we're still adopting those and using those 4 or 5 years later, and they're very dated now, right? That we don't know how to push past that. A lot of them, well, I'm trying to be like nice, and the time doesn't matter. The time doesn't matter. I felt like I was going crazy. Yeah, Retro, we're always on the same page there. And again, this is not to jab or yuck anyone's yum. We're talking design here. We're talking design. I'm not saying don't like it. Astral Ascent's a beautiful game. They did a lot of great things. Their building and synergies is not one of them. That's the truth. That's the truth. But they do a lot of beautiful things. I'm not saying it's not a phenomenal game. So for people that don't know me, I'm good at what I do. So you may not understand this, but if you take a second to just try on what I'm saying, you're going to start to see what I'm talking about. We adopt a lot of ideas. So you might be like, oh, well, Dead Cells did this, right? And Dead Cells did great for when they created their game. They did great, right? But a lot of people go like, oh, I want to be like FTL. FTL has terrible ideas. Oh, I want to be like Isaac. Isaac has a lot of terrible ideas now, too. We got a tweet from the Isaac dev this year that says, you know, not having the items and telling you what the items does was like, I get it. It's not a great idea. We're going to try to add that because it takes some people longer to get to their dead ends. So if you have a game doctor to help you say, hey, no, this stuff is great, but it comes with a lot of bad. So we could push that forward by taking the great stuff and cutting off the bad. But if we don't have those conversations, you're not going to get that in early access. I'm sorry. If you don't have those ideas to cut off the fat, you're still developing 4 to 5 years behind. And you wonder why you're not hitting that top percent. So when you guys when a lot of people reference these games that they want to be like, you realize that that was the top percent. They got lucky. That was the top percent. You guys realize that, right? Oh, I want to be like them. Guys, thousands of games are released weekly. Thousands. And you're talking about that one game. Because they were the standout. You're not just going to get lucky. You have to do the work. So you increase your odds by talking to somebody and cutting off the fat. And so with this update, and why I said months ago, hey, you guys are going to see one of the coolest updates you've ever seen. We wanted to push the genre forward in conversation. And that's what we did, right? Ruby gave me a chance and lended an ear to understand. We cut off a lot of the fat, right? And we pushed the genre forward. I said, you know, all of these items and stuff, even these games that people are going to copy, they're all doing it poorly. How about we work on something new? What if we work with activators? What if we push the genre forward? And he said, and once he saw that, he said, holy crap. So what I'm really trying to say is everyone can do this. All of you guys can do this. All of you. Because the beautiful ideas that you guys have, that's unfortunately the easy part. Every dev has dope ideas. That's why during Next Fest, we want to try all these games. They all have dope ideas. We want to try all of them. But how many do we still get excited for after? Right? Because that's the easy part I've come to learn is the idea, your cool idea is the easy part. How to make it a really cool game or a fun experience, how to push it forward and cut off the fat, that's the hard part. And that's why you need to be in conversation.
Your bot is like super toxic.
Oh my God. Bro, they made that years ago because everyone came in. And so I actually banned the word clone from my channel. Because
I tried to use it once.
well, that's because a lot of people would come in and use it ignorantly, and I didn't want them to embarrass themselves. So they'd be like, "Oh, this is just a Slay the Spire clone," and a lot of times I figured like, "Oh my God," when they were using that, they're actually embarrassing themselves because it's like either not, or they just are ignorant, or they don't understand. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just ban that word because a lot of people are just kind of embarrassing themselves, and I don't want that, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, like, I listened a little bit to what you just talked, like, as developers, we also, like, sometimes are, like, just, like, how do I say it? Like, we take somehow the bad ideas from, oh my God, you got the flag.
What is that? What's that?
It's like, increased effect of rage and fury is like a companion. It's perfect.
Oh! Don't we have... What? Wait.
The other weapon has fury and you have the rage trait, so you have both.
Oh.
So it's like really good. The first trait is rage. I love how this is a ranger.
This is a ranger, by the way.
Yeah.
This is a ranger. Dude, we're cooking. Chat, it's really hard because I want to talk more about this run and I'm getting really hyped and I want to point out a lot of beautiful things that are happening in this game right now, but I could do that at any time. So I'm bouncing back and forth, but you guys are bringing up a lot of great points in chat. And then this is kind of like why I even have a business. And again, I told you guys what I'm setting out to do. I'm one of you guys, right? I'm a consumer. I sit here and play 400 games a year. I'm a consumer first. But I created a business because I realized a lot of common flaws in the market and how we're always, and I started to notice over the years, why are we so behind? Why are other devs spending years of their life making a game that they're very passionate about, but they have the same problems that, hey, those games ran into and those games ran into, and we could prevent it. So if you see somebody drowning, you're going to try to help them, right? It's our natural to try to help people. It's natural. It's the same thing here, right? I'm a gamer first, but I figured, oh my God, I could do something here. I can make a difference. I can help people, right? I can. And so every client can speak to this where I am sincere. We could do something about it, right? We could cut off the fat, and we could Vampire Survivors, Hades, they're successful games and they're great games, but they do have issues too. People can't see that far, right?
I feel like...
even when people come in, they expect me to give them a review that's very black and white, and I can never do that. It's really hard for me. It's not black and white. Every game has great things about it and they have poor things about it, and we need to be able to talk about both, right? It's not good or bad.
You know what I always say about Hades? Hades is the game that is the roguelike that has the best meta progression. And do you know why I say that? Because it's the best story game, and like if you really can tell an amazing story, I feel like that's like really good meta progression. The problem is it's really hard to do and it's really expensive to do. So like we as devs, we look at Hades, oh, this is so successful, let's steal the mirror.
Right.
Like, like we don't steal a storytelling roguelike, we steal the mirror.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant, that's what I wanted to say. Like, very often we look at games and we copy things without thinking about it. Like, Vampire Survivors is doing so good, like, I'm gonna make a game that sends 1 million enemies towards you. But then it's like, what really sold Vampire Survivors was you open that chest and like...
Well, that's what I kept talking about, right? Yeah.
Right? Like, and then
that's what I'm trying to teach people.
Release a game that has all the Vampire Survivors elements, but it doesn't have the good things of Vampire Survivors, and then you're like, okay.
Yeah.
And like, you say you can't like luck yourself into that, but for like, this is my first big game that I made. And like, you just need to stand on the correct shoulders of your giant. So for example, the combat here is inspired by Enter the Gungeon and Archvale. And before that, the game wasn't even a bullet hell game. Like, there was barely bullets in the game. And then I played Archvale, and I kind of felt empty after it because it was so much fun. And I was like, this is masterfully crafted combat. Why doesn't my game have that? And then like my friend told me, oh, you really gotta check out Gungeon. It's kind of like the same. So then I go into Gungeon and it's like, my world just opened and I was like, I want to program that. I want to make that. And like people call me out like, you have the Gungeon Maiden in your game that's like super cheap. But then like to me it's like, I saw that enemy, I found it really fun. It's a bit overtuned in Gungeon. And I like want to try program the same thing. So like I'm always a little bit in between worlds of still being like a new developer and just like, trying out ideas. How do I program this? How do I create this? And then on the other side, I don't want to like be like get a copyright infringement or whatever, right? So like, but I feel like I hold the line pretty well, like overall.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely standing on the shoulders of giants with tiny rogues, right? Like all around, like everything. But I also love that about the game, and I feel like everybody else loves it too, right? Like,
Yeah, no, like, dude, I say this all the time. Gungeon's another phenomenal one that, you know, paved the way, and I give it so much respect. But at the same time, they don't have like their item identity is just a gun that like shoots different. They didn't go past that. Just like, you know, it's like, oh, pick up a different weapon that's more powerful, right? So for you to like have all this item identity, like it literally feels different or it shoots different or it looks different, it's amazing and it feels good. Then we're adding it with all the new stuff of like you're cooking up builds and stuff. It feels amazing.
and it's a valid approach to make like a more arcadey game where you don't have to read so much.
Oh, for sure. If
Right,
you're
so
saying,
like, Enter the Gungeon is great. Like we don't need to put RPG mechanics in it.
For sure.
And stuff like that, right? But then like my entire idea always was like I was then playing Gungeon and I was like I didn't know about synergies. I didn't know what the items did. I was just kind of like fishing for the good weapon always.
Yeah.
And so I was like, coming from playing Path of Exile, I was like, I just want to level up and then like wreck some bosses. And then I made tiny rogues, right? Like where I can do that. So that's how things came to be, kind of. And yeah.
There's a couple things. I want to piggyback off what you said earlier, and also somebody asked, when is the best time? And I love that you asked that. There's a common misconception. Whoever asked that, when is the best time? There's a common misconception that people apply the work that I do with like, oh, I need a very good version, or oh, I need to be far along, or before release, I'll hit you up. And RubyDev will tell you, he always says this, it's so funny. That's literally the opposite of like when you want to hit me up, because then you can't get the infinite value that you could be gaining. And I want to give you guys, I want to piggyback off that, if I may, with a real life situation. This really happened. There's a big name dev, he's amazing. Shout outs to Slothworks. You guys may know Meteorfall, you guys may know Crummit's Tale. He's amazing. He came to me early when he had this like very early prototype, and I did my thing. And after, the value that he got out says he couldn't. I said, hey, how much value do you think, how much time, energy, and money do you think you saved by having this conversation with me and hiring me just for this one session? And he said, honestly, like I wouldn't be able to put a price on it. That's what he said. I wouldn't know how to put how do you price it? I wouldn't know how to price that, because what he saw is that what he was developing and aiming towards was very dated, didn't have a big successful scope, because it was very, he got to see a lot of red flags and where they were going that were going to show up about a year from now after they invested a lot of time and energy, right? They said like, oh, you know, this is very dated. It's not great. He had a very clear perspective that he got to acquire for himself, a very clear perspective of where it was going. And so I was so excited to hear that. He then hit me up, fast forward a couple weeks ago. So let's fast forward a couple months. He got to rework it, go a new direction. We got to have powerful conversations that inspired new things that I could see in his game. He came back to me with a new one, and it was infinitely better projected path. And he's so pumped about it. So this is real life. People hit me up before they even have anything playable. Actually, RubyDev, can you attest to this? Up until a week or two ago, we never even had anything to play.
Yeah. I feel honestly bad about it, because I feel like your impact would be even like higher if I actually yesterday you said you didn't even get to taste the cake, and then I was like, I hope in the future, like at least I like get to bake you some cookies, you know, like yeah. So, but I can totally also like say that like the value that this provides is like it's infinite. Like how old am I? 26, and I always think that to myself, like I'm like power leveling here. Like you said, it's a cheat code. It is a cheat code. Like imagine I have to learn all of this on my own. Like I'd be like 40 years old, and I'd be a worse developer than I am right now. And like,
Dude.
I got big ambitions, right? Like, we're killing Isaac right now, and after that, I want to make Terraria 2, and then when I'm like 50, we kill Diablo 5, right? Like, that's the plan for my life.
I
And like,
believe it.
I gotta like get the cheat codes because else I can't do that. So yeah, like, like it's crazy. And like, as a developer, and like, you can't play that much. You
Yeah.
can't keep up with the industry. And even as a player, like, I don't want to play all the garbage that you're like seizing through. Like,
Yeah.
but like, I want your knowledge from doing that, you know. So like, it's
Oh my
great.
god, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know. It gets me emotional because it's like, man, I don't know. It means a lot to like hear that. It's crazy. Like, and that's like what always the goal was. And to be honest, I've been thinking about like doing this kind of thing for years, right? But everyone talks about things they want to do and stuff like that. And to be honest, chat, a little bit of backstory. I don't want any. We're not gonna get into a sob story or anything. But like, I come from a family. We have no like wealth or anything like that, and it was always a struggle, and nobody was like super successful in my family or anything like that. You know, we come from like nothing, so it's like I learned that like I can't really, you have to get lucky. You don't just get what you work for, you have to get lucky. That's what I've come to learn. And so it's like, it doesn't matter how hard I work or how good I am, it's like, am I gonna get lucky or not, right? And even with streaming, it always kind of felt like that. It's like, man, I can give energized content, fun vibes, showcase the most games on Twitch, but it doesn't matter. It's not the hard work or what you do, it's, am I gonna get lucky, right? And so it always rings in my head. That's one of my blind spots, or like something that I have to battle, is like getting that out of my head, right? It's not about getting lucky or anything. So for you to like mimic back like what I'm shooting for and like how important this work is and how it could change the industry, because I know it sounds super ambitious, like I don't know, it gets me hot, bro. It gets me like I don't know, it means a lot though. It really does, because like you being in the work and like removing blind spots and like power leveling, like you said, like it would take you years longer. You'd be 40 the time you got to where you are, because you're power leveling is like what I am after. And like that is a game, that's an industry changer, what you're saying, right? Imagine being able to have a affordable someone that like can power level you, so you don't have to keep making the same mistakes that all these games are making, you know? And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's like, why do we keep buying these games that feel like they're making the same mistake, right? And earlier, to piggyback, this is why I wanted to bring up this conversation, he started talking about Vampire Survivor. And on my channel, I always tell everybody, like, devs make good ideas, but they don't realize that like what they're learning from these games that were successful is wrong. They're learning the wrong thing from the successful game. So we look at Vampire Survivor, but what we're learning about their success and what we're copying is the wrong part. And so we don't extract what is great about all of our predecessors and what they did great. And if we're not in the conversation, we can't extract the right stuff, so we're progressing slow as well. When these indie devs that are making great stuff could be sitting on the throne right now. But we're not, because you have to remember all these successful games that we think about, they were the outliers, right? And so we're not gonna be those outliers if we're making the same mistakes. Now we have to make the new trends that they were making and extract good stuff from the games that they extracted from before them, right? And we could be sitting on the throne too, but if not, and we're also just another sheep, and when I say that, I just mean like, we're making the same mistakes and we're playing it very safe and we're doing the same things, then the chances are we're not going to be one of those outliers, right? But a lot of these games could. Right? Endless Dungeon could have been one, right? And like all these phenomenal games we were looking forward to, Gunhead, right? And we saw this way before, where it's like, dude, you're making a lot of common mistakes here. I literally told the devs of Endless Dungeon a month or 2 months before they came out, hey, just so you know, this is gonna not go well on launch, right? We told the devs that. We told them that here live, like, this is scary, right? I said this is one of my most insistent. And so, chat, the point is not that I'm a fortune teller. The point is that we could do something about it. And I know we pour a lot of love into our work and stuff like that. We could do something about it.
The thing is also...
Go.
Like, game design is still not... I mean, I don't want to, like, overphrase it once more, but it's like not valued in our society yet. Like, I feel like every player playing a game feels like you take game design for granted, and like there is so few game design university courses or university things, and like then it's like often very bare bones, right, and stuff like that. And like, yeah, game design is taken for granted, but it's like really not easy. And I see a lot of games fail too, probably not as many as you are, but you know, like when your event at like real life events or whatever, and then like you see a game and it doesn't do well on sales, and like you kind of just have it in your gut feeling why it didn't do well. So then you come in because you made it your job and you know how to phrase it. Why? Like as a person, you probably, like I even can't often articulate that feeling, but then you need somebody, and then like you can take a lot of RNG out of like releasing a game because you're not a fortune teller. It's just statistics and patterns, right? And somebody still might get unlucky, but it's definitely not that 9 out of 10 games that didn't do well because they got unlucky, right? Like,
and that's not the case a lot of times. Yeah. I guess that's what I'm also hoping to show live here, is that I'm not somebody that's like has some name where it's like I'm reputable enough that I don't have to prove myself anymore. And what I hope that people see is that I'm here daily proving the work. I'm not like, I don't have a name to just live off of where it's like I'm successful now, so I can just play it safe, right? I'm here putting my name on the line every day and talking about games that are not like big titles that everyone's excited for, and I'm like, nah, this is not going to go well, right? And so I'm putting my name on the line and showing that this work is not just made up. It's not foo-foo, where like we could do something about it if we want to. Yes, there is some luck involved. Yes, things could roll different ways, right? But what I always even talk with RubyDev about and other things is like, we can decrease the gamble that we're taking. And a lot of times we're taking a huge gamble. And that's the thing that breaks my heart. It's a lot of games that I'm really excited for as a consumer. It's like, I'm so excited, but I could see that like, dude, what happened here? This is a huge gamble that they didn't have to take.
And like, I don't want to talk too much about it because like I feel like I'm still very like, you know, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Like I feel like I'm very deep in it, so like I don't want to like seem like a know-it-all. But when you think about like, let's think about like math or damage calculation in a game. Like a lot of developers, they will like stack a lot of multipliers, right? Like damage increases and so on. So like let's say they have good graphics, good marketing, and so on. But then like it doesn't matter when you like multiply 0, right? And that's your fundamental. Like you gotta like, if you have like, and I am often the opposite, I feel like. I suck at marketing. Tiny Rogues does have like it doesn't really have like this design language. It doesn't present itself.
All indie devs are good at marketing, bro.
Look at how it kind of looks, right? And then like I give content creators only 2 days head start, like right, and a lot of other people do much better at that. But then my foundation is good, so if I just like multiplied a little bit, that like did really well for the game. And like other games just don't have the foundation, right? Like even like there's even AAA games. They get all the marketing in the world and then they fail. Why? Because the foundation isn't there, right? Like,
right. Don't blame it on marketing and stuff like that, but their game was never there to amplify. Like the marketing wouldn't amplify anything, is what you're saying, right? I love the way you put that. Yeah.
Right,
like if you amplify, and like marketing is like amplifying. If you amplify like 0, it's still 0, right? I love the way you put that, and it's like, well, dude, if we create our better foundation, we can amplify it. Yeah.
You know, 0 is a strong example, but even like multiplying 1 by 10% is not as much as if you multiply 10 by. Like that's again my Path of Exile brain, because like it doesn't matter how much damage I spec on the skill tree. If my base damage stinks, then I won't deal damage, right? So like you gotta make sure you have all the things, kind of. Yeah.
You bring up great points, man. Bro, do you think dude, there's like so much I want to keep like ranting about this run too.
Like I thought we would like focus way more on the run and so on, but like
I know.
I have no idea what you're doing. But you're full health, you have an evade, you seem to be doing like super good.
Yeah, Xandra, you bring up a great point, and I always tell everybody that I work with that my goal, and I don't want to bring this to me, I want to double back to what you were saying, having a powerful foundation, but somebody said market research as well. Yes, Magma. So what happens is I end up wearing so many hats that it's hard to describe, and that's why I'm coming up with my own terms, and I'm just calling it the game doctor. Because yes, I do market research, I do market analysis, yes, I do design coaching. I do a lot of hats that don't exist. There's not one role that fits it all, and just to describe all these things sounds like I'm just making something up. Like, oh sure, this guy could just do it all, right? It's like, well, I don't know, like you tell me what to call it, I don't know. Anyway, but that's not important. Amplifying strong foundation. What was I just about to talk about? Oh yeah, so my goal as well is to not like, people think I'm just gonna like fix your game or something like that. I don't care about that. You can give that to the fishes. That's what early access and beta's for, right? I'm not there to like fix your problems. I'm here to remove blind spots and work with the developer to hear what they have to say and hear what things they're running into, what blind spots, what common things, like what do they have a common way of thinking that like we could shift a little bit and all of a sudden they have a new perspective, right? I'm there to level them up, which in return produces expanded results. And what I mean by that is everything that they touch will then be better for it. Right? Do you guys get that? I'm not there to fix a product. I'm not there to like level up your game. I'm there to level the person up, which in return, everything that they do, and I'm sure Ruby can attest to this, everything that he goes on to make is now going to be better for it. This dude's everything he touches, every other game he goes and touches, it's gonna be better for it.
Because now I know about emergence, information, and pacing. And you know, like those three things, they don't just apply to roguelikes, right? Like I suddenly start seeing those things in like Minecraft, and like suddenly it makes sense why this game is the biggest game on this planet. Because there is no game that has more emergence than it, and it's like, you know, so like...
You can apply it to other games too.
Yeah,
you're like, wait a second, I can see something differently here. You start to get it, right? Yeah. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Imagine, like, so like how you're feeling now, that's how I feel and why I started doing what I do. It's like, wait a second, like, why don't other people see it this way? Why don't other people... So that's what I started doing is like, how can I give devs the fish? Right? Or teach them the fish, right? I don't want to give them the fish. I'm not just going to help them with their game. That doesn't do anything. But if I can teach them to see this way, they can apply it to whatever they want. I was honestly surprised that you did market research stuff after our last call. I was not expecting that, but it was super appreciated. Yeah, I really do want to always just help the best I can. And so part of my power is if I can, a lot of times I'll have a client and then I'll hit them up weeks later and be like, yo, check this game out. I did some research, or yo, you should check this out. Like, this could help us, right? And I hit people up that I don't even work with sometimes, that I haven't worked with yet, but they're interested. And I said, hey, remember we were talking about this thing? I just wanted to have your back. Yo, check this out. And it's just part of what I do because this is my life. This is all I do, right? Like, it's just digest games. I just eat them up. Pops a balloon when taking damage.
Like the devs are cooking and you eat them. Great.
Yeah, the devs make meals and I just run around and eat all of them and try them out, and then I turn into a Gordon Ramsay. Dude, this build is so all over the place. Hey, so I was gonna ask you, I have this offhand which increases radiant damage, but then we also found this which gives necrotic. Which one's better?
It depends. So the necrotic would be more like if you like go like a little bit damage over timey.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
A little bit more damage, a little less utility, I guess.
I see. We did just get this. Dexterity equals crit.
Oh, nice. I think that was a bad choice.
It was a bad choice? The other ones were even worse.
But that's completely fine. And it's actually like a good thing to talk about tiny rogues. I feel like a lot of like I call them my Discord goblins, right?
Yeah, and I love that.
I often forget that they are like my power gamers, right? So when they get a trade selection and they like a trade doesn't fit, then they get like angry with me and they get a screenshot and it's like, why does this shit show up if I don't even have a use for it? But then like in all reality, like you don't even need all 6 trades to like completely annihilate the entire game. So like it's fine, you can experiment, right?
Bro, I'm cooking right now.
It's always a little bit like it goes back to earlier we talked about where do you get your feedback from, and then you always, damn, you cooked.
Bro, we're cooking now. We earned this though.
You have to like consider, is this like a vocal minority? Are these like power gamers? Is the game like actually too hard for like the average new player on the step that's playing on the Steam Deck without aim assist, right? Like So like there's a lot of things to consider. And,
Oh, dude.
like like on the one hand, you like, especially as a solo dev, you just like can't accommodate for everybody, and on the other hand, like it's just like it's still good to keep that in mind. And
I think you
not,
brought up
like,
a good point, is that like you're right, like being able to like not listen to like the vocal minority, but like also I think that's why it's important to have like a professional that's on your side, that's like kind of like helping you find out what your game is asking for, and not just somebody that like likes a certain type of game and they're telling you like what they like, right? Like it's not about what I like, it's about what your game is asking for. Like, hey, your game is really calling for this, or your game is really shooting for this. This would help aid that. Not like, hey, I like this, so you should add this kind of stuff, because that doesn't really help a lot of times. It could get lucky and random and help, but like a lot of times that's just like people just saying what they want or what they really like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and for example, what helped me deal, like what lesson helped me is just, I remember being so, like we talked about this before, being so scared by the way the set boots, like they complete the set.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wait, what? A complete
yeah,
set?
like the left boots,
Oh. You think this is good?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's
Because
get
you
it.
have the ring.
Yeah.
Like the lesson that I don't have to be scared. Like it helps me now to look at when somebody suggests this shouldn't show up, to evaluate, should it really not show up, or is it fine that it shows up? So like I get better at that, right? So like that's where I feel coaching every day now, because sometimes I literally, like for example, Tiny Rogues has a mechanic since day 20 of the beta that when you're wielding a bow, then like shields are like significantly rarer, because like why would you ever use it? And then like because shields are rarer, then quivers are more common, and then it's just more fun, right? And I feel like that's like very tastefully handled, and I like doing that kind of stuff, right?
I love that.
So yeah.
Even what Ben Star says, people might go, but I prefer how it is currently, but then they get to see the changes and actually get a feel for it. Dude, we had to deal with that, and that's why I was really happy to be there for Ruby, where it was like, bro, you're gonna launch the update, just let people sit with it. And I remember he was kind of like, yo, people are saying that like it's kind of complicated now, there's a lot to read, and I got to be there for him, and I kept saying, bro, just let it, don't even react to nothing for like 2 days, trust me, right? Just sit with it. Because again, remember, if people are not trained to give you feedback, or they're not paid to give you feedback, they're just reacting. They're yes, it is new to learn, right? Of course you would rather not have to learn something than learn something, right? Of course you'd rather it go back to the old way. Just let it rock. And now a couple days after, he was like, yo, people are loving the update, right? Because now they're more accustomed. You saw this in every game launch too, right? Like
I'm still kind of like sitting on like razor's edge here, because like I feel like every 2 hours I get a comment like that. So like overall, like I told you, it's like 0.1% of the comments I get. But still, and like I have to like hold myself back and be like, don't start arguing with those people, just let it sit.
Let it be, let it be.
You know, the game evolves, and it's fine. If somebody really feels like, yeah, I don't like it anymore, then that's like, I guess, like I just can't accommodate for everybody. And then like, there is updates gonna be coming, and like, we work on information overload, and there's gonna be new content and stuff, and like, maybe they change their mind in the future, maybe it gets better, maybe not, you know, like you never know. So like it's very important to just sit with it and let it like sink in, let people play, observe. So yeah, definitely. Like one thing I get a lot is like, why did I take away that you get stamina from like dexterity, and why don't you get a heart anymore from strength? I really like that. Like I feel so squishy now. And then like I'm personally convinced that like if you like, because I hand out so many more items now, right? Like if you just pick up one armor item now, you kind of like already compensated for that. So I'm like personally convinced that it's not a problem, but people are complaining about it every day, and like I just keep an eye on it. But for now, it's gonna like sit, like this is gonna just sit for like maybe a month or longer, and like I will continuously like just like evaluate it and like think about it if it's really a problem or not, right?
Like keep an eye on it.
Exactly.
Do you think this is good because of all these extra stats? That's a lot of numbers, no?
So you still have the blunt trauma, right? So like you kind of want to do striking damage.
Oh, this is...
So
Wait.
the one in the middle is better, I think. Because you want to do striking damage, so your shockwaves. Then you have double explosion and shockwave.
Is this even good, though?
Yeah, this is good. Trust me.
Is it better than what I'm rocking, though? Then this is probably just better, no?
I think both your weapons are all better than this, but it's fun to try the one in the middle out.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because it explodes, and exploding is fun. And maybe it's even better. I don't know.
If a character...
Because you have to add the damages, basically.
Yeah, I see what you're cooking. Oh my god, it has like no range. This axe throwing thing is like kind of inaccurate on purpose, right? To like make up for some of its power.
It's like kind of like bending a bit. Yeah, that's just like... It's just axes in Tiny Rogues, I guess. It's like making them...
Yeah. Oh my god, I see what you're saying.
And like at Olm, what you're saying is there's like nothing wrong with that, I feel like. I had like the idea for like kind of like a different mode, like maybe a little bit of an easier mode or like an exploration mode, like in mind.
Yeah, you talked about that.
But it's always just like like priorities and like there. So yeah, I mean that's basically everything I can say about that. So like I even had like yesterday I talked with Fox, funnily enough, Fox Knox, know him too. Like we chatted real quick because he also hung out in McQueep stream, and then we talked about information and how it sometimes is a little bit, sometimes it is a little bit of a cursed problem because some players are just gonna feel overwhelmed, some not. Sometimes you want to give less, sometimes you want to give more, sometimes you want to hide it, but then you run into the problem that players are very resilient to like it says in big yellow text hold shift, but like who really holds shift then, right? And then like, so I like said, I already had the idea, like maybe the game should just prompt you when you boot it up and be like, are you a person that likes to read a lot? Or are you a person that just likes an arcade game? And then the game could like adjust the descriptions, because honestly, you can't play Tiny Rogues without reading anything, without understanding anything. Just always pick the weapon that like has a higher rarity. Like if it looks more awesome, pick it and you're gonna like wreck your way through the game, right? So like you could do that. So like there's like ideas, I guess, but yeah.
Since it's kind of close to the discussion, if a character in a multiplayer game was very strong for beginner players but super weak for good players, how would you change them? You see that kind of all the time, though. We call that like pub stomper characters, right? That there's a name for that. It's called pub stomp kind of games. So it's like, hey, this is a really good pub, you know, like he kills like new players very well. He feels very oppressive, or new players are not going to know how to deal with it, so he seems really good, but he's actually trash. And you see that all the time, right? That's in every like multiplayer game. And I don't think there's like, multiplayer is its own beast, by the way, but you also can help teach people. I would point towards a different problem. That people are probably thinking that because they don't realize the tools that they could use on how to overcome a challenge. And I want to say that that's also, if we want to even go, oh, traditional roguelikes and stuff, there's stuff that traditional roguelikes are not good at, right? I think a huge design problem, and no matter what kind of game that you're making, is when people lose, it feels very unfair when, it feels very frustrating when they don't know what to learn from that loss. So imagine an old school roguelike, and you go into a room and you're going to fight a new enemy, and that guy one-shots you, and you couldn't learn anything about it. All you've learned is you're going to go fight this guy and he's going to one-shot you. You don't know how to play around it. You don't know what options you have, right? Nothing feels worse than you can't learn from what is you're doing wrong. And it's the same with a multiplayer game. If I'm getting a pub stomp enemy is beating me up and he just seems OP, and I don't realize I can't learn, hey, I have these options, or the game is not helping me learn options to fight against it so I can get better at it, that's what's frustrating. So I would point the problem towards what the real problem is. And the problem is not that character. That problem is not the enemy that you're fighting. The problem is it's a bigger problem. And once you can analyze and have a conversation around what the problem actually is, and again, this goes for all games, you could start to work towards the solution. And again, this goes for all games. Nothing is more frustrating when you can't learn your options or what you did wrong, because then if you like, oh my god, I get it now, all of a sudden that loss doesn't feel so good. Oh my God, I know what I need to do there now. Oh my God, yeah, I have to build around this. Oh my God, I have options. That feels good. When you die and you're like, okay, whatever, like that's frustrating, right? So that's to, you don't point towards the character. It's not a character problem. What I would say is you're angling angle it at something else. Angle it at yeah.
Can I just like point out that, like, in this moment, just now, like you kind of like I kind of had like a game consultation moment when you said like you gotta look at it differently. Like when people are I don't want to use the word complain too much. Let's just say they say that they miss extra stamina and extra life in Tiny Rogues. The problem may not even be the availability of that. It might just be like how the game, like how you don't know it's available, right?
Yeah,
so like,
yeah.
For example, I watch a ton of streamers right now, and nobody's used to the health flask. And I really think it would like help if it like starts like, I don't know, like shake or blink and be like beep beep. You could like use me or whatever, right? Like, and then it's like I can recover health, right? So that might immediately, you know, like one sip could already be considered a full heart, and it could help. But if somebody is just forgetful about it, then they will feel like this game just kills me. How do I survive, right? Like, or like the blacksmith, like you're facing right now. If you have broken armor, like it could like have like a tooltip on the side or whatever. It could like exclamation mark, repair your armor here. Like it could be again a problem of information, like not availability but information. Like that's the power of consultation, right? Like you suddenly start to think about problems differently. Like
dude,
right?
I love you. Yeah,
like, that's like amazing, right? Like,
I find that a lot when devs come in here and ask me a question. So sometimes the way they speak to me, and this is why RubyDev will tell you a lot of times, my work has to be a conversation. That's the essence of my power, because I need to hear how you talk about problems and how you talk about things that you're excited for. When I say you, chat, I'm talking in general you. It's important for me to be able to dialogue with you so I can hear, right? So like even how people ask me a question, I could tell things about them and how they view things and how they vision, right? So right there I could see like, oh yeah, it seems like a character problem, but I could help them see a different lens and remove a blind spot that like it's nothing to do with the characters, right? And this is a lot of how devs think and stuff. Sometimes it's not wrong. It's just like, oh my God, I could tell a lot here. Let me help you shift this angle a little bit because I could see why you're thinking that and it's not wrong. But shift it a little bit and all of a sudden you see, oh my God, wait a second, this makes a lot of sense because you're getting to the root of the problem. You're getting to the root of an issue. So like RubyDev said here, people could be reacting to some type of thing and it could be true, but sometimes it could be them reacting to something else that's a bigger problem. And you'll see me a lot of times shift the conversation. Hey, it's not actually about that conversation. That's a smaller conversation, part of a bigger issue, right? So I love that you said that. That's part of like the power there, and I'm not perfect at it. I'm getting better and better, and this is why my power levels are every client that I work with, my power levels are growing, and I'm like, hey, you help me kind of like learn how to communicate this better, and it's a big deal, right? And so a lot of times that's what I call a blind spot, is you're looking at the wrong problem, and it's part of something else.
Like as a developer, it kind of like reminds me of like, I don't know, watching House MD, right? Like you
watching
can't just
what?
like treat your House. You know, like,
House.
Like, yeah, like you can't just like treat the patient for what they come to you and tell you what like this hurts, and then you give them a pill that this is like
right.
No, like you're kind of gonna like analyze and find out like what's actually
exactly
wrong
there,
right?
yeah.
Like, so like in a way like
know, right?
The game doctor hits it pretty well, right? Like because it's not really about treating, and people always criticize you for that. Like, oh, why do you call yourself the game doctor? My game is not sick. Your game is not sick, but like I help you like analyze, right? Like,
dude,
problems.
that's so
like, that's
funny,
great.
Dude. I actually got hired once for that. Like, they're like, oh, help us with this one problem. We're applying for Apple Arcade. But when I looked at it, I said, no, this is not your problem. The problem's over here in your tutorial. And they were like, holy crap. They're like, dude, we had 4 different test beta periods with like 4 different people in each. And we knew there was a problem, but we couldn't figure out the problem. We knew there was a problem. And I was like, yeah, you're looking at the wrong area.
Yeah, like, yeah. And like even like like now my brain already like it's going into thinking mode, right? Like I know there is an issue right now when you get killed in Tiny Rogues. I immediately destroy everything and the screen fades to black and then like the death animation plays, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it would be really helpful to just like freeze the game for like 0.1, 0.5 seconds. And then you know to which projectile you actually died. I'm kind of like scared to implement that on a whim because I feel like it could break everything, right? Like you can't just pause the game. But I feel like even that could help with like learning the game, because if you die to things you don't know you died to, then you feel it's unfair and I didn't get enough health, and you know, and like, so like there's a lot of stuff I can do, and that's why the problem has to sit for a while and not be remedied in a hotfix. Yeah. Exactly.
I love that you're even thinking about that is the point, right? It's just to get you thinking about stuff, because this is how the industry gets pushed forward. What he's doing right now, it's like, wait, that conversation, and remember, this is all conversation. I'm not going to tell you what to do. It's just there to inspire you, to push you, right? And to put, that's how we push the industry, is to have the right conversations. So now this dude's thinking like, hey, wait, okay, yeah, this is a problem. Cool. I have a cool idea already. It'll show you where you got hit, right? So this is how he's thinking of new things to push, and that's what it's all about. I never take the reins. I'm never going to be the conductor. I'm never going to be the captain of your game. I'm just there to inspire and coach you and cheer you on, right? And he's the captain, right? And you can see how that dynamic works, and that goes with all my clients, and they'll all tell you the same thing, where it's like, dude, I'm just there to encourage you and push you and plant seeds. And how you grow those seeds, how you tend to those seeds, that's on you. I'll tell you if you're doing a good job or bad job, but you're the captain, right? And it's like, so you can see he's like cooking up these new ideas live here just through the conversation and having the right conversations. And it's like, dude, it's so cool to be a part of. This is why I get so excited. It's like, dude, that's how you push the industry forward, because we're fixing problems that are like dated since, you know, forever.
Totally.
I love this. I love
your
this.
offhand right now, still the torch.
So our offhand is still Radiance. And again, we do have Necrotic, but I don't know if that matters.
But you aren't like really into lucky hits right now, right?
No, we're kind of not. I see what you're saying. So like Radiance not doing much, you think?
But you don't need the shield either, I think. You have so much damage. I don't think you need any of these 3 items.
Really?
Yeah.
Adds your invincibility duration after taking damage to the duration of your status effect. No, that's cool. That's a cool item, though.
Kinda cool, yeah.
That's a really cool item. So this is like really good for safety. Like we could almost put this right before a boss, right? Right before the boss.
Yeah, if you like are almost dying next floor, then you can attune it. Yeah.
I love that. So we keep it as like an emergency. You're saying?
Yeah, I mean, especially because before the final boss, there is the room where you can attune. By the way, are you lawful? Are you like?
Yeah, I'm going for lawful. How do I check?
C, and then on general, and then on top.
And then on what?
General, and then you're good to go. Yeah, you're going all the way.
I didn't get to do this last time.
Yeah. You're going all the way to the end. So maybe the shield was the good choice. Yeah.
Let's try. Oh.
I mean, your damage is really good. Like,
I'm trying.
Holy moly.
We earned this though. I wasn't OP the whole time. We had to.
Yeah.
We earned this. This was not a free run.
Dude, I had also like when I told you I'm just casually beating Cinder 16.
Yeah, this morning he's like, I'm just casually playing 16. He's like,
that was not casual, right? Like I was like using a rare weapon. I was like doing this kind of bleed poison build, kind of. That didn't really deal a lot of damage. It's kind of weird, but I guess I beat it in the end, but close. It was nice.
Bro, you beat 16 like it was nothing?
It's always so funny because as a dev, like I love that feeling, like of like being on edge, kind of struggling, right? Like I'm surviving.
And you pull through.
The game. But then like players, I feel like very often they will be like frustrated when like those runs happen. Like,
dude, that's like my style. Like I'm weird. I'm like, dude, my favorite runs are not where I'm OP. It's like where I clutched and like got out of a bad situation, but then lived long enough to like hit and come back, right? And now I'm strong. Those are my favorite runs. Like this was not free. Like it's
the
so
first
cool.
trade is so goated for you.
Get increased stats from your companion based on how many companions you have. So I get 300% for my companion.
300%, and like your companion buffs your rage and fury. So that is like 3. So you're like tripling your trait. And like,
bro, I don't know if I told you, it's kind of like your fault and like this update that we created, and like, you know, we wanted to be very activator heavy and stuff. Like, and then I watched the Path of Exile 2, like 2 dev blogs, like, because I couldn't sleep, so I watched 2. And I got really excited, and playing this is like, it's like bringing it out of me. It's like you created a monster. I'm like, damn, I kind of want to play more action RPGs.
By the way, with that trait, I'd like just like go for the shield now because you don't need the damage anymore.
You think just play it safe?
Yeah. Just go for it.
Okay. I like where your head's at.
Definitely.
Oh my
god, your attack speed.
Bro, I took this. Look, my your movement speed also attack, and we don't have like a ton of movement speed, but we have tailwind, right? And rage.
Yeah, you have tailwind.
So like we found a way to get it. It's not on my items, but it's on my powers. That's sick.
Yeah, definitely. And dexterity gives it 2. It's pretty good, yeah.
Dude, that's sick.
I think you only would need to reroll that one trait if somehow you got a dice. Something.
Which one?
That bottom left one, yeah.
You think reroll this maybe?
It doesn't do a lot for you. Yeah.
What dice do I have anyway?
You have one. I mean,
you think we should do it?
Yeah, gamble it.
Dude, let's get it. Let's gamble, chat. What do we get? Light. Oh, what?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I don't.
Man, now I would switch back to the torch.
Yeah? Yeah.
Now it's more lucky. I mean,
chat,
like, this
do you see what he's cooking here? So, this is so cool. Look at all this. Like, look what we're doing. We started as a ranger, by the way. So now we're pivoting back to Radiant, because Radiant, if you look, adds lucky hit chance per stack, right? And we just randomly hit. So do you see how this is Emergent? This is what I'm talking about. This is a roguelike. This is not, oh, I'm going blue stats, so just grab blue stuff. No, this is us, like, Emergent. And this is what a roguelike is supposed to be, is Emergent. This is why we play replayable games. Not because, like, oh, I can do blue plus blue equals blue. Like, no. You want to have it Emergent, tell a tale throughout the run, right? We changed build 4 times. This is crazy.
No, we hit the shop.
Oh, wait. Okay.
How much can you afford?
I got 37. Oh, wait. Yeah, 37 bucks.
11,
So, but this is cursed.
The broccoli would be nice.
Yeah,
This is an indicator for it rolled. The curse made it so that it rolled the maximum price.
Oh.
It's a bit confusing.
No, okay, got it. Yeah. So
it's not expensive, but it doesn't curse you.
So I think we take both of these. Agree
yeah, you
or
can
no?
both of these. Yeah, totally.
Yo, let's go. Okay. I don't care about any of this, but we can like blow this up.
Intelligence is crit chance.
Oh, okay. I like how I'm swapping in the axe thing for like throwing range, but if they get close, then I
love the weapon swap.
Yeah, the weapon swap, baby.
And first, I wanted to get rid of the hot swapping in the inventory because I was like, but then I was like, I was basically too lazy to do it because it's like gonna lead to a bunch of problems, like locking your inventory and stuff like that. It's kind of like, again, then suddenly you're gonna not be able to equip something or whatever. So then I was like, why even do it? Like, right? Like, let's just add in the first step the weapon swap and see how it feels. And I feel like yeah, you can also like super try out hot swap now if you want. Yeah. But in general,
you can just swap around.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that shield is really nice, by the way. It's 2 block for every floor. Like, I'd wear that. You need the radiant damage, kind of. I'd carry it. Carry it.
Yeah, I remember you watching me play even the original game, and it wasn't like you didn't really need to do that in the original game, but I would do these like hot swaps, I would call it, or pocket swaps. Yeah. And I remember you watching me and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I want. Like, I want reasons to like swap around and stuff, and now it feels so good. Like,
the weapon swap feels so good because like, if you are out of range now, you can like switch real quick to this weapon, right? And then like.
Or that. Remember the weakness? The guy was resistant, the boss, and then I swapped over.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's the small things, right? Like,
it's the small ones, yeah. It's the small, like, little victories and allowing good players to, like, try to outplay if they want, right? Like, oh, cool, like, they're resistant. Let me try to do something here. More player agency, I guess, is a good way to put it. Dude, I'm kind of nervous. So we just keep this, I think. The Radiant, since it's huge now. That's a lot of damage. We should be...
You could just, like, if you think you're gonna take damage from this boss,
I mean, we
could go for the shield. Just
for
this boss. Use the block from the shield and then like either go to a different.
I'm scared.
I don't know, like you're OP, like just go fight the
good.
boss.
We got this. We got this.
Yeah. By the way, the mask is also the attack speed one, right?
Wait, I also see what you're saying. Is you're saying like use up your shield and then hot swap it?
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, can I just put it on 2 and then hit 2 and like it'll hot swap it?
No,
right?
because it needs attunement.
No. But I mean,
could
we
just,
start with this. We start with this and put this in second, right?
Yeah, you can do that because the torch does. Or the torch also has attunement, right?
Wait, which one's better though? This is better.
This one. Would
Oh,
be
the
better,
torch
yeah.
has attunement. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we don't. Maybe we don't.
Yeah,
Maybe we don't.
no.
No. We got this. We got this. We got this. A legendary item.
Yeah.
What do you think? Or new
Yeah,
helmet?
man. I mean, it's reduced. There's also the red mask that increases attack speed but reduces damage. I feel like that would be. But you have so
This
much
is fine.
attack speed. It
Yeah,
might
this is fine,
actually
this is
work
fine.
out with this
Yo,
one.
Chad, do you see
Also,
like this game is so insane,
like-
dude?
Like I want to take the opportunity to like just say like everything is synergizing right now. Like even your gloves. Your gloves are adding flat damage. What is good for flat damage? Attack speed. So you're like even those like rare gloves are like a perfect fit basically. Like everything is kind of working together, right? Like that's the power of the new tiny rogues. Like, and this doesn't happen this run. It happens every run. I swear to you. Like every run you find synergies, and it's crazy and it's so much fun.
Yo, let's go. Chat, exclamation point Nexus, if you're thinking about picking this game up or you want to buy it for a friend, you can support. Make sure you leave a
You know
review.
what? That armor is
Dude.
perfect defense.
Yeah, I
Because
think we...
the mercenary armor won't do a lot in the late game.
You're right.
There is no gold rewards here.
Oh, dude, this
And like
is
you don't really need the
good.
ribbon set, like you could complete the ribbon set, but no.
Dude. Do I even need money at this point? We're not going money at all, right? Yeah.
There's also only soul shops now coming, so like, man, let's go.
Let's go, baby!
I mean, people are not gonna see a lot of the bosses because you're just gonna wreck them. But,
Dude, I don't know anything about this room. Help us out here, or is it secret? Wait,
I mean,
what the?
But go into the middle because you're like lawful now, and the middle path is for lawfulness.
This?
Yeah.
What's this?
This is heaven, the other one is hell, and the middle one is the shadow planes.
But like, how do I?
And for-
I thought lawful I would go to heaven.
No, heaven is good. It's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons alignment. You know how people say my character is
So this is if I'm unlawful?
chaotic evil or chaotic good or neutral, right? Like,
So what's this?
it's like two. This is gonna be the abyss. This is the next expansion. When you defeat all those 3 bosses in every 3 gates, then you get 3 keys, and then in the next expansion you can go to the abyss. And in the abyss there's gonna be even crazier stuff. There's gonna be 7 new bosses in the abyss. It's gonna be the demon lords, and yeah, like it's gonna be crazy.
And wait, what's this? Or is it
This is
secret?
just like before the version of this. There used to be the ichor in there to
Oh,
kill
you're
yourself.
right.
It's a little bit of a homage to that.
So I want to go mid.
Yeah, you want to go mid.
I love this
Run it
door, by
down
the way.
mid. Yeah, it's eerie, right?
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. So wait, how do I become good or evil? How do I do that stuff?
So the way to do it, the best way to do it is that you like enter it once, then you defeat the guardian there, and because you defeat the guardian, then the version of the shop starts spawning that makes you good or evil. So like if you go to heaven once, then you defeat the boss there, and after that the good shops spawn, and if you buy things in the good shop, then you get even more good, and then in the next run you're basically prepared to go deeper into heaven even. So like it takes 2 runs to like explore heaven fully basically.
Right.
And now you're in the shadow planes, which is usually the first path.
This is insane.
Nice, some wine.
Let's get some wine.
I also had some wine today already.
Yeah, you should be celebrating, baby. Bro, I messaged him this morning. I said, bro, I'm so hyped for you. Like, we work for this. Bro, there was like 1,400 people playing this morning, this game.
Yeah, it's amazing, honestly.
All right, I'm buying this. Exclamation point Nexus. And leave a review.
Yeah, buy it on the Nexus because it has SD.
Por favor, please. I need to buy gifts. Bro, I'm so hooked. Like, this is like every time I've been playing this run, like this update so far, I'm like, bro, this is so good. And then I play another run, I'm like, wait, this is like really, really good. And I play another one, I'm like, wait, this is like so good. Like, you guys got to remember, like, I didn't get to taste this cake. We've been doing all conceptually coaching and stuff. It's been great. And so it's like, go.
Oh, the random tome might be nice.
You think so?
Like if you get a good trade, like the lightnings are kind of good, but they're also like not perfect. I feel like, right? So like, if you get something like even better, then like that would be nice.
I guess if we do,
like,
then we could replace lightning and then put on defense.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I mean, maybe you don't need the defense, maybe you need it. I don't know.
I see what you're saying. I feel like if you're lacking damage, you want like even more defense. Obviously, you need some safety. Right now, we could be good without it, but I feel safer with it.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's good.
We don't care.
Don't care.
I'm gonna go bombs.
Equipment chest? Why not?
You think so? Oh, we got the key.
Maybe legendary helmet, or I don't know.
You're right. We
Like
can still hit.
legendaries drop like candy in the later floors. You know?
It drops like candy. I recharged my evade. Oh, flip flops.
Nah, not
We
that.
can't use it.
Basically.
Okay.
By the way, if you press C, like this is a tip, like, and then you can hover your character. Like people don't know this. I don't know how to teach them. Yep. And then you can read what evade does. It refreshes when you don't take damage for 5 runes. You can refresh it more often than block, but you have to work for it basically. Right.
Makes sense. Oh my god, look at that pull, dude. I remember when you first did that and tweeted about it. I was like, yo, that's so cool.
Honestly, I'm so happy how all the new enemies turn out. Like, they're so cool. Like, there's the jousting champion. Have you played against him yet? It's like a boss
yeah. He was kicking my butt
and
earlier.
I think he's the #1 like killer boss right now, who like ends runs, and like he's amazing, right? Like
Yeah.
Oh, that repair powder would be nice. Can you afford it?
Oh, you're right. We
Because
can afford
there's no-
one thing. Do you think level 4 is better, or do you think this is
I
better?
mean, I feel like you have plenty of damage, and this is just a safe play, and then you can stick with the
You're right.
torch.
You're right.
if
You're
you
right.
want,
You're right. I think you're right.
Mercenary armor or whatever you want to drop.
Okay, we'll keep that in
But
mind.
yeah, like the new bosses are so cool, and then the new enemies are like, yeah, it's just amazing. And I even love like some of the old enemies so much, like these
What the muck was that? What was that? Oh my god!
Even like some of the like games from the base game, like I noticed like they just fit in perfectly. There's these angels in floor 10, and they will just like teleport away from you and then shoot 3 arrows each. Like, I love moving between those attacks. I don't know, it's so much fun to me.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. I mean,
all right, I think since we have armor repair, we keep this. Yeah, we keep our build. We keep our build.
charm is nice, right?
Wait, there's gonna be more after this?
Yeah.
Oh fudge. Okay. Here we go, chat. Here we go. We have a lot of damage. We stack, and then we swap and go crazy. I felt your presence inching ever closer. Gurion?
Garion.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Garion is actually from, I don't know where it's really from, but I know it from Dante's Inferno. And it's like this dragon thing, like a creature thing that like takes them to like one circle lower in like hell, you know?
Oh.
So like, it's kind of like thematic. The other bosses, I guess, like, I'll spoiler you, it's Tiamat, you may be known from Dungeons and Dragons and like other Final Fantasy, and Bahamut. And so like I was
Bahamut.
I was looking for a third dragon that fits into the middle. So then I was like, that's perfect. It's Jiraiya.
You're like, wait a second.
He's like the pet dragon of Death himself, you know, like
That's sick. What the hell?
looking like a Yu-Gi-Oh monster, like
He
straight up,
does.
like,
Freaking blue eyes.
amazing.
What the mook is this? Oh.
Oh my god, you're wrecking me. Yeah, this?
Ah! A brief spark of light in an endless sea of darkness. Dude, he looks so cool.
So, and the point of the dragon bosses is also, which was always kind of awkward, that Megadeth just appeared on floor 10. And Megadeth was so much harder. So the dragon bosses are like in between Death and in between Megadeth, basically, you know, difficulty-wise.
Yeah.
So it's just like smoothing out the curve, because often, like in the old game, you hit floor 10 and then it's kind of like, oh my god, my build is wrecking everything, but it's not really ready for...
Is he summoning? What the?
Yeah. This is actually like, you know how we talked about bosses can do different things, right?
Yo.
Like
It
this
feels
whole
so
undead
different.
army.
I love this.
Can't
Oh, I
believe you
love how
got
different vibe this is. This is so good.
Can't believe you got the bull. And then you buffed
The bull is so good.
after rage. So amazing.
His head
What a-
fell off. Yo, that was so cool. That was a cool fight. Okay, we guarantee an offhand. Let's go. This looks beautiful,
the
by the way.
charm is pretty good.
Bro, that's an amazing charm. And we have what's it called, chat? We got repair powder.
But remember, you can't repair powder mid-combat. So
Oh, you cannot.
yeah, you need to use it before if you're damaged. I'm gonna be here to remind you. I'm gonna go AFK for 1 minute.
Yeah, take your time, take your time. Yo, chat, do you guys see what we're cooking? Now that he's not here, we could say, "Oh, this is crap." I'm just kidding, bro. Do you guys see how crazy this is? Like, I talk about this on the channel all the time, where we don't know even how to make roguelikes anymore. It's still all games that are just trying to bait you. They're like, "Oh yeah, look at my 1,000 different enemies. I have 1,000 characters." And then they design their game around like nothing being replayable, but they don't realize that, right? They don't realize that they're making boss fights that are not replayable or fun. They don't realize that they're making a lot of design choices that are not replayable, right? And a lot of times we just call replayability having a menu that you invest in time in. And when I say time, I mean like dark meta, right? If you're getting +1 damage, right? Oh, you play for an hour, we give you 50 of a currency, and then you go and the menu tells you good job and gives you damage, right? And we call that our replayability, right? It's artificial now. And so nowadays in the market, and again, there's not a problem doing that, but being aware of it so we can go past it if we want to. A lot of times we're kind of like the fast food of the gaming industry right now, where we're just artificially injecting cheap artificial content and just selling it nowadays. Now the problem is, I'm not telling you not to like it. I can appreciate a McDonald's cheeseburger every once in a while, of course, right? But when you can at least learn from it and you know that it's not good for you, you know, when you can just gain knowledge, right? To just see this stuff and be able to talk about it, it's hugely important, right? Because we can all appreciate a McDonald's cheeseburger once in a while, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Oh my god, Friended Trees, right? I had a review on my last game saying the game lacked the spirit of Rogue, and honestly it was 100% correct. It was very easy to lose sight of what you're actually trying to make. Dude, Xander, I hope we get to work together one day, man, because I can already tell that you're on the big things. And I think I looked at like one of your games like a year ago, and I can already tell that you're like trying to do really cool things and think outside the box, which I love. And I think maybe that you just needed a perspective shift to be able to like do new things but still introduce it and have it feel familiar at the same time. A lot of times when you're doing too many new things and it feels very unorthodox, you're being very like daring, and what happens is people are going to react a certain type of way, and they're going to react very aggressively. And when I mean that, they're going to be either very aggressively into what you're doing or very aggressively not, right? But when you can trick people, and what I call this, I use this a lot with my clients, I call it player conditioning. A lot of your players are going to be conditioned. Players are conditioned, right? They're going to feel very at home when your jump button is on A. When you break player conditioning, you're going to get a reaction. I think Ravita, I had a conversation with Ben Star about this as well, where if you break player conditioning, I'm sure he can attest to this, people are going to react, right? So it's like, oh my God, people are reacting to jump not being orthodox, right? So what happens is a lot of times you break too much player conditioning and you need to realize that you're taking a bigger gamble. or just having a conversation that you're breaking it on purpose and with purpose. On purpose and with purpose. And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't even realize they're breaking player conditioning, and they do it by accident. Then you're in the danger zone.
I don't know if that like fits what you just talked about.
No, say it, bro.
When I first played Revita, it was so funny, and I think I gave people a good laugh. Some people, because I posted it on Twitter. I was stuck in the tutorial because I didn't realize you can like jump and dash, because I don't play these kind of like Dead Cell games, I guess, right? Like, so like I was just like, how do I get I know how to dash and I know how to jump, but I didn't know that you can like do both, kind of, right? That was funny.
Bro, this is
to be
creepy.
honest, I always feel a little bit like weird, like I don't like games with gravity. I don't know, it's like gravity is my #1 enemy. I'm very comfortable in the top-down perspective.
That's your comfort spot.
Yeah.
Whoa, this is crazy. What the hell's going on?
Lower 12. We're deep in. Very deep. Now it's gonna get interesting.
Oh, dude, remind me later. I would love to talk about more of the creature collector kind of things. I got plenty to say about that and Sarah Lim and stuff like that. Yeah, remind me later. Bro, the new tracks are sick, by the way.
Like my music artist is the most amazing.
Bro, can we just shout them out real quick? They got a link or something? Hook a brother up. You feel free to drop it in chat. What the hell is going on?
I can give his... So I learned, I got to know Miguel on Fiverr, but by now we skipped the Fiverr because they just take a cut and I like paying him more money and not giving money to Fiverr. So
yeah,
I'm still gonna post it in chat. Somebody
Thank you.
Makes a lot of stuff, and like I think he also has a Bandcamp. And like actually today I gave him the images so he can upload the OST everywhere. Like it's a funny story because like back when the game released I was like, I want to do that myself. Obviously I didn't know him that well yet, and I like it's the right for me to do it, but now I'm kind of like more like I'm just letting him do it and letting him capitalize on the soundtrack, and when we're gonna sell it, it's gonna be like either all for him or a huge share for him, because I just like foster that relation, and like he does an amazing job, and he made a soundtrack for dirt cheap in the first version of Tiny Rogues, and like now we're slowly getting to prices that are acceptable, because I'm just like, dude, you charge way too little, you gotta like charge me more. Right?
I love that, dude. Yeah. I can relate to that. It feels so good. Because people don't normally say that in life. They're not like, hey, you're charging too little, right? Like, people are usually like, no, you know, I don't want to pay nothing and this and that. And so the first time I had 2 different clients say like, bro, like, I am going to tip you because you're just not charging enough. And it's like, bro, that feels so good. Like,
yeah, and like just like having a good business connection too. Like, it just had like one time he had like problems with his ears, so he wasn't sure if he could finish like a song and so on. And then I was like looking for a different artist on like, and like I tested out like 20, and like one was pretty good, but that guy then stopped making music. I don't know. So like it's hard to find replacements for your talented artists, right?
Right.
By the way, how do you like being displaced?
Bro, I'm freaking out.
By my version of the Displacer Beast. Yeah, you know, like in Dungeons and Dragons, the Displacer Beast I think is mainly known for it displaces itself. Oh. But I thought it's kind of fun if it like displaces you, right? Like,
oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out over here, man. I've never been here. Chat, do you see what's going on?
You see how the souls are splitting, right? Like again, it's like a little bit different.
A little chaotic,
chaotic AoE. Yeah.
I like that. Like I'm swapping to AoE for those crowd control hits, and then I'm bursting like one guy down with this, and it feels so good.
Yes. Well,
bro,
I'm nervous.
This
boss, but it has been buffed a little bit. It has been buffed.
Oh no!
And I'm not talking about HP. HP, like. You know,
I'm not even talking about HP.
Like this is just like.
All right.
Yeah, well, you're set, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're scared and you want to go to a different shield.
No, I think we gotta go for it.
Nah, you're fine.
Right, the radiant damage is so important, you know?
Yeah, you're fine. Let's go. Hype.
Does this help me at all? No, right? Like we should just go. Like, if he's close, I'm just gonna go wail on him.
Yeah.
Do you have any consumable? Oh, I don't think. I hope I don't.
He doesn't. No, you don't. It's fine. You have the repair powder, but it doesn't like do anything.
It doesn't work. Oh my god, he looks sick. He looks sick, by the way. I'm nervous. I've seen many fools, but none as dangerous as you. Our little dance ends here. Oh my god. You are nothing!
And I am death.
Come on, baby! Oh! Bye, evade.
Oh, he dies quickly.
Oh my god. Hunger for power, for treasure, for knowledge, but it must take an end. The balance cannot be disturbed any further. It seems to be time. Time for one final act of mercy. Oh my god. This is the end. Oh my god! Please die!
No,
I don't know.
Run in circles. No!
I don't know which way to run! Which way do I run? Holy
Not the way
fuck.
you're running right
The
now.
opposite way!
You got this. It's going easy on you.
Let's go! Why is my screen's black? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
That's one of the new mechanics. You can like make it go dark.
Yo, I got a key! What if somebody left that here?
It doesn't matter. It's just like literally cosmetic.
Okay, cool.
Doesn't do anything. It's just fun to drop it. Well, it's nice. It's weird. You gotta drink the ichor.
Drink it?
Yeah, drink it. People don't know you can drink this. Ban it. Easy.
Banhammer. I'm gonna use my freaking fire hammer. Take a sip of ichor? Yes. Bro, that boss is scary, by the way. If I wasn't as strong as I am, I would've got destroyed.
And you have to actually play the mechanics of it.
I would've got destroyed. That felt so good. That was... Yo! Ascend the primordial throne. I look so cute as Death. I got the mask on and everything. A new master! They're so happy.
You're so happy, yeah.
Chosen by the shadows. They're so cute. Immortal no longer. I love it, dude.
One thing missing here is I actually like I want to do like a different death animation for this one, but it's kind of like a lot of work to animate. Like I kind of want it to feel more like a Thanos snap, you know? How like it fade away. So I already got the music tune for it, but yeah, that's gonna come some other day. Right? Like,
Bro, can we just talk about this? Like, I remember when we talked about the crown thing and showing like progress and making it very gamified, and then you came up with this in like a day or whatever. Bro, it feels amazing. Like, you know how many people miss out on this opportunity? Like, Devs, if you just hang out here, we talk about the secrets all the time. We give you the secret recipe. But anyway, like, you could double down on dopamine. Notice how you get the crowns in the boss fight and it feels really good. Voidigo does this very well and it feels so good, right? But then we come back here and you collect them and it feels so good, right? And then you get your your progress bar right here, and it feels so good, right? Because you already have the mechanics. Gamify it so that we can appreciate it and make it feel really good, right? You already did the hard work. Gamify it after, kind of thing. Man, this feels so good, dude.
And then you get to allocate new nodes and stuff.
Right, and then that feels good, right? It's like 5,000 times dopamine, and you're like, holy hell, it feels so good.
Can you not scroll all the way up? Is it bugged?
Oh, you're right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Reduce ailment requirements. That's probably really good to help with the other doors, right?
Yeah, because then you might be actually with that node. You actually maybe can, for example, you could do hell in one run, because there is many things that make you evil, right? Like you could start with something with a character that is already evil, like thief or bandit, and then you go to the black market, and then you get one evil, and then I think you can buy illegal gun parts in the tavern, and then you're like at -3, so then you can like skip basically one run of like, and then you can immediately go all the way down to hell.
How
like,
negative do you have to be to go in the
-3? You can usually -4, but now like with that node -3, yeah.
Oh.
The like, which one is also really good is the one on the path there, the one single one to the left. It like one below the opening, like that one. It's kind of good because it teaches you, and for example, arcades are really broken with this because arcades always drop dice when you bomb them. So then you get twice the dice, right? It's really good.
Twice the dice.
And if you're really good at the game, like you should, like if you just investigate the entire west path, like the straight path, a little bit above, right? Those, and then the one after it, those are really good. Like they reward you for perfect floor and perfect kill, and then like you can just like super pop off.
Like snowball a little bit in the beginning. Dude, this was such a cool concept. I remember like you were so proud to like start working on this too, and like it shows that like, and I think people are gonna resonate with it because it's fresh and it shows like your energy, because it's not like just some menu that you're pouring stuff into. It's like thought out. You know what I mean? It's obvious where the effort is, and you're interacting with the game, and it feels really good. And it's not just some menu giving you like a half a damage or something, bro. And it shows here. It feels really freaking good.
And it's super extendable. And like I'm planning to extend it.
And again, I think a big part of the DLC is the foundation. Like you can keep building upon the proper foundation.
I'm like even like thinking about like maybe in the future that there will be like I will have to give you more points maybe, because it's just like like maybe it grows so much, but I have like so many ideas already. And like for example, the entire like if you go to the east and then to the bottom, so like south. Like there is like mini game stuff, and I feel like
I saw that.
It could be like even more, right? Like I could like make it like I have an idea for a node that like fishing rooms start to appear, and then like you can actually go fishing, and then like I don't know, like you know how we talked about, or like you saw it in the original draft, like the treasure goblins, like you can spec into that. Like there's so much coming, and it's gonna be fun. Like, and that one is also a fun node because it's kind of like I call it a gate node. So like you have to pick something bad and then you get something good. It's kind of underpowered right now, I feel like, even though people say the epic node is actually secretly OP, because then you start to get epic items already in like floor 4 or 3, and like it's really good. So people are like catching on to it, and like that's the amazing thing like about this system. You see so many different opinions, and like one day somebody on my Discord will be, this node sucks, why would anybody ever pick that? And then the next day somebody comes in and says like, I'm so thankful that you implemented this node, this is my favorite node on the entire tree. Like it's such an amazing system because you can just spec the things that you like. And like I feel like it's like leagues beyond any of the Vampire
it's like
Survivors
fun
power
meta. Exactly,
upgrades,
it's fun meta,
and it's not like, and it's not even like nobody can complain this is not power. It is power, and it's like if you utilize it correctly, this is like 5 times more powerful than the old meta progression, right?
And more fun. And more
fun.
fun.
And this is inspired by Path of Exile once again, because they have their Atlas skill tree, which is basically, instead of affecting yourself, you affect the levels you play, so the maps. And then I was like, why wouldn't I implement this into my roguelike? That's a perfect fit for meta progression, right? Like spread a few little candy ups, like a revive and a soul art, to satisfy the people that like want a little bit of power. But then even like if you want that one movement speed, you see that past it, you're taking to that one movement speed, like you're losing out a lot of fun by taking that one movement speed.
Yeah,
and I love that I make you do this, right? So like I'm already like cooking. Like I could even like re-implement the mechanic of like at level 30 you gain a heart if you have strength, and if you get dex, like I could put that on the tree and then like gate it, right? And then it's like then it's fun suddenly, right? There's so much potential with this, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's
Dude, I love it, and I can tell just in your voice how excited you are, and I think that's just part of pushing yourself. Yeah.
And Cinder 20 is also coming, and the new Cinder modifiers. I feel like I already spoiled. Like one is gonna be just like, I think it's gonna be bosses gain 10% health per floor, which I basically just am implementing for myself because I like that. I wanna like, when I play the game, I wanna like fight the end game bosses a bit, and you see how fast they die. So, but the other ones, I feel like I'm gonna like make really cool. Like one that I've always wanted to make was that death gains new abilities, right? Like that's always, I feel like, cool stuff when you like get to make it more difficult in a way where something actually gains more abilities and you get to see like new content or whatever. So like like one is definitely gonna be like just like, I guess like it's then called super death or whatever, but and it works also now because now you always have to fight death. Previously, like why would I modify death if sometimes he gets replaced by mega death, right? Makes no sense, but now it makes sense. It's gonna be amazing.
That is gonna be amazing.
So the future is so bright, and yeah, like it's gonna be so fun.
Dude, it really is, man. It's like a whole new like you. Like I always say this, but like you already cracked. Your game made my game of the year list before we ever worked together, before we even like knew each other or had a friendship. Like your game was naturally on my game of the year list, right? Like it's good. It's good. And like, and so it was never about like especially like working with me, and that's why I'm so happy. Like you got to realize like what I was hoping to show other people is that it's not about being good or bad. It's just about pushing yourself to like even further. And I feel like we could see that like in you, and I was putting a lot on the line, telling everybody like I'm hoping that this puts like proof in the pudding that like what the work can do. And I told everybody this is gonna be one of the sickest updates you've ever seen in the indie scene, and like, and people are saying that, and it just shows like what it could do. And I could see it like even lighting you up, because like even you're excited to talk about this update, right? Like so you can see the work. Definitely. Like you're even excited about it. like
I love my own game, and like it hurt that I couldn't play it for so long, right? Like
you're like, I can't even look at my old work now.
Play it.
Dude, and I love that, man. It like really warms my heart. It really does. It's so crazy, dude. And like me playing this finally and seeing like what actually got created, and like all the work and conversations and all that stuff, and stepping outside your comfort zone and like playing this, it's like holy crap, it feels fresh, it feels new, right? Like it feels so good. Like during that run, I think it really hit me because I was swapping builds and I could have played so many different directions.
There is 2,000 people in game right now. 2,000 people are playing Tiny Roots right now.
2,000 people, bro. Like you gotta pat yourself on the back. And this is not even like a brand new release. This is an up game that's been out, and now there's 2,000 people playing.
Yeah, amazing.
Like, and not only that, like the important thing is like what you can now add onto, because we talked about how important it is having a good foundation, and that's why you redid all the flooring, as I like to say. You ripped out all the carpet and redid the flooring, and yes, it was a lot of work, but I kept telling you, bro, but now you could just add on, right? Like you have the new floor, you can keep building the house now. And what a lot of devs just don't realize is like you put yourself in a dead end, and the most common thing I hear is it's too late for us. Like it's too late, we can't do that now, it's too late. Yeah, that's the problem, is that the foundation, we can't rip it up now, but he got to do that, and now he can just keep adding.
And I run into some of those issues still, and like I'm gonna try to remedy it. Like we talked yesterday, 2 days ago, about the pausing mid-run, and how I'm like diving deeper and deeper into like literally the pile of shit that is my code base that won't allow this. And like I hope I remedy it at some point, but like, you know, like some things I have good foundations, some not. It's just good that the game. It's good that the game is so good, because it would be a shame that you can't pause it otherwise.
then people would be, it's funny. I said that. I'm like, usually people are so reactive to that. Like, oh, I can't like save mid-run. And it's like usually a red flag. But like, I think it's a testament to how fun your game is that you don't get a lot of complaints about that where other games would, you know? It's so funny. Yeah, dude, it's freaking incredible. It's incredible. Yo, chat, do you guys have any crazy any questions, anything that you would love to ask about the update, future update, him working on the update? Now would be a perfect time to ask any of your burning questions. Yo, what up, Axolotl? How are you? It's like done green meta concept, probably the best way I've seen meta implemented. Yeah, I think it's really freaking beautiful. Just very original, but familiar, new, and it breaks a lot of what's wrong with dark meta, but still gives you like power in certain ways. It's pretty genius, pretty genius.
By the way, you can unlock new characters when you go on the lock side, icon.
Wait, what?
Like the bottom row, like it starts to extend, like Burning House of Pirate, and so on. And then you can
Guardian of the Burning Hell. You know, not to do any coaching. You want to like highlight this kind of stuff and bring their attention to it. You know what I mean? Yeah,
there is like this exclamation like that sometimes put on things.
Yeah.
Ran out of time to do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude.
In general, I'm a little bit. I don't know if it's like I feel like it's fine that the characters are locked away, like right, like.
No, it's fine. You just gamify it. Like show them, hey, look, you got like a new thing to go for, right? Like make it exciting.
Definitely.
Yeah, just bring their attention because this is already good. I'm not saying that this is bad. This is great. You want to show them like, hey, you have a new quest. It's like giving somebody a new quest.
Yeah, it feels a little weird just because like I announce all the new characters, but it's kind of a lot of work to unlock them first. But that's just a game, right? Like it's
at the end of the day, yeah.
End, right? Like,
Of course, yeah. I mean, and if you imagine the other way, and they started with all of it, people would be complaining that they don't have unlocks, things to go for, right? This is beautiful. And the thing is, this is what other games would do, and this is how you like remedy it. Is you already did it.
Yeah.
Other games would start with 2 characters and be like, oh, but you can unlock the rest. But it's like, at the cost of like your early game not having toys to play with, right? Like, and you see devs do this all the time. Like, oh, look at all the artifacts you unlock. But when I play the game now, I have the same draft appearing in every draft, right? That's the problem. So like the idea is like, what is it costing you? And right now it's not costing because you have a lot of variety.
If you literally start a new save file, you're probably still like unlocking the old classes while already unlocking the new ones. So and like also like I try to be very careful with the mastery level XP curve. It's the first time I'm doing something like that, and basically I think it works out pretty good, at least if you play with Cinder. It might be a bit overwhelming if you don't play with Cinder, but I found it kind of not so fun that Cinder doesn't give you anything, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm encouraging, like, if you go into the Cinder menu and just like put them on, you see like the first 4 are like a crazy XP increase. So like I at least encourage you to like put on 2, put on 4, like ease yourself into it, and you're gonna like rise and like it's literally like gonna take like 10 runs and you're mastery level 30. So it's like very. I don't like to gate this behind like a super extreme long grind. Plus, after you level up to mastery 30, you actually get like cosmetic levels. They're called paragon levels, which level to infinity. And I'm gonna like, when I have time finally at some point, there's gonna be like skins and MTX behind that. So instead of selling you that stuff, you will be like at paragon level 10. You will unlock that crab enemies spawn with a top hat or whatever.
I love that. You already know I love that. I want more games to do that, dude. Honestly.
And I feel like that's gonna be really cool, and it's definitely like people already love to compare their paragon level, right? Like and it's a fun thing. Like even though like in theory you could just cheat it,
right?
It's fun to not cheat it, I guess. Right?
Yeah, and I think that's the great part. If they care enough to cheat it, whatever, let them. That's what they want, right? Like. Ah, dude, it's so good. Oh, dude, what's up, Vault?
Can you alternate art for the player you win a higher Cinder run? Yeah, I think I could.
Yeah, they're saying the same thing you're saying too, like alternate, like maybe skins.
Yeah, somebody wanted like a different color scheme for the Jester class, which is new. So then I'm like already like cooking, right? Like that would be kind of cool. If the items could start with a different color.
Oh yeah, like B skins or alternate colors and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I wanna like do like the Overwatch thing for every character where you level up the character, and then when you like get it to like level 10, then it starts with a golden version of its weapon. Like it does nothing, but you like start with a golden short sword, right? Like just your starter weapon in a golden version.
I love that.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be cool. And I really want to like gamify it too, like with its own menu where every character has an XP bar and they rise, right? And like it's gonna be cool. Like there's gonna like I'm not lying when I say I have like such a long to-do list and so many ideas still, and fortunately nothing is holding me back from like just like going ham, right? Like
Yeah.
and like I'm not developing the expansion for a while because I feel like it's gonna be really healthy for the game now if I just do like 0.2.1, 0.2.2, like
Yeah,
at
we
least
talked
like
about that little ones.
four medium-sized patches, like keep it a little bit alive and going,
Yep.
right? So like there's surely gonna be a patch like at the end of like January, mid-February, a small one, right? Like just like I'm on vacation right now, so
Yeah. Dude, that's
but
one of the
yeah.
things that I always strive for, especially with my clients, is like, dude, we want to get to your game or an update or whatever it is to a point where you get to enjoy your release, right? And notice the difference, bro. He's like in a good place. This launch, look at every other game on the market, right? It launches and that's the worst time for them, right? It's like damage control, fixed reviews, quality of life, because they don't have anything that the players are going to want or ask for, right? And like, now we talked with Z, one of my other clients that released a game this year, and now this game, and they're in such a good place already. Yeah, little balance updates or things that like you can't avoid. We call that the unavoidables. But like, dude, he's on vacation. He gets to enjoy his work, right? That's like, really important to me, right? Because that means like, like I'm not doing my job if you release and it's like a disaster, right? But like if you release and you get to somewhat enjoy it, like that's what I'm striving for. That means like I did something, right? It's like, dude, we need to make sure your game is something that can launch and gamers are gonna have what they like could want or what they like are gonna ask for anyway, right? Like tooltips, right? Like look at For the King 2. It launched and people are complaining they're at mix and their damage control, right? They can't work on what they want to work on next or content, right? They can't even think about that. They have the damage control, right? Like, right?
I mean, I still also have to do some damage control, right?
To a point. I'm not saying it'll disappear, but you're in an infinitely better. We're not like trying to. Oh my god, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you strive for. I'm saying it's not something that you ever like obtain. It's something you always strive for, I guess.
Yeah, I great. Like to me, it's so great. Like sometimes I look at Tiny Rogues where I'm working on it, and I look at the black background and the simple art style, and I'm like, you're working 80 hours a week on a game that looks like this. Why are you doing this? But then like I play it and I feel so much joy, right? And like it's just like really good. And then I'm like, it's worth it. And it looks a little bit weird, but it's perfect, right? Like it's just I don't know.
Yeah, I love the like you have a unique art style where things look really pretty, but it's minimalistic at the same time. And I love that about the game.
It's something I did well, right? Like the consistency is there in game, right? Like
stylization over graphics.
Stylization is important, yeah.
Any day of the week. I said the same thing with that story fairy tale game we were playing earlier. Well, I'll take their energy and their stylization over the AIR any day because you can feel it, right? Like it's like, oh wow, this is like this does a lot. This is very pretty. The game is very pretty. But you don't. That's not graphics. It's like stylization, right? That's way more important. Way more important. The bonfire alone looks sick. It really does, right? It really looks really good. A lot of it, even your door. Remember I was talking about the door earlier? Like the door, like all the little stuff.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like really hard, you know, to do this art style. Because like in pixel art, you can do a lot with like shading and like... if you notice, all the characters, they have like... their outline, like, it's also in their character, right? Like... To talk like it's black, it's kind of like a negative.
Oh, right.
Usage to like, and like sometimes that's really hard. So, like I actually have the rule that no color can be to another color, but sometimes I need to break that rule. So if you look at the night shield, I think it's one of the only places in this entire screen where one color hits the other color, because else I can't like do this pattern, right? Because pixels are pixels.
I never even noticed that.
Yeah, and like I use it very rarely, but sometimes I do it and then it works. But it's definitely not like, let's say, a brain dead art style. It like takes a lot to make things look in a way, and I get praise for how like items look in game, and it's a lot of like work to like on such a small canvas with like a limited palette, and then with my rules of like my pixel art to like make like the dirndl, like the Oktoberfest dress look like one that's
Oh,
actually
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, right? But then like if I manage to do it, it just like hits perfectly, I feel like, right? Like, and yeah, it like works out well.
It works out amazing. Dude, I didn't even
Yeah.
notice the color thing you were talking to me about. That's such a fun
Yeah, yeah.
fact. Simple art styles are sometimes harder to nail because every pixel has to be perfect. So true.
Yep.
For now, we're swapping 3 pixels back and forth, trying to decide which cell line best. Yeah, I can't
mean,
imagine. Yeah.
if you zoom in on like a node here that is split in 3,
Oh,
and like
right.
I struggle so hard because these icons are so small and I only have one color, and I still follow my rules and they have to fit. So like,
Oh my
you see,
god.
like it's crazy sometimes how. So I spent like an entire afternoon doing this kind of stuff, right?
Oh my
And then
god.
like I start to do tricks with like how to rotate them so they fit and so on. And, yeah, but
Holy
all
crap,
it turned
dude.
out pretty well, yeah.
Especially, I mean, not just pretty well, in the amount of time that we had. I kept telling you, like, dude,
Oh, yeah.
the one thing you should learn from this is never do this again.
Yeah.
Like, but like, you made it work, bro. Like, it was hard,
I mean,
obviously, but
it definitely wasn't healthy to do that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't advise anybody to do that.
but you leveled up so much, right? Like,
I
oh my
leveled
god.
up a lot, and also, you know, it's my first year of being a full-time dev, and I needed to do this to experience it, and now I know better.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I still enjoy developing, so that's great. And now I'm taking a good break so that I don't get super burned out.
I love what you said there too, and I still love developing, right? You didn't a lot of devs put their all into the game, right? Let's say they don't have a game doctor, they don't have a consultant, it's just all pressure on them. It's a pressure cooker, right? And how many devs do you see that get burnt out or demoralized when they before they launch their game or after? Right? And it is that's so important. What he said is that, like, I don't hate what I do now, I still love it, right? And bring excitement. Talk with people that are gonna keep lighting your flame and keep you going, right?
Yeah, and like I didn't even do that bad. Like on Thursday, I noticed that I'm kind of set, right? Like I noticed I just have to finish. I just finished the achievement implementation. I just need to work on the Steam page now. And then I was like, let's just use this Thursday and do like my Christmas grocery shopping. And so like I went out and chilled a bit. It took like my 4 hours just right. Like it was really nice then in the end. So like I take care of myself and.
Dude, yeah, you've been killing it.
It's nice.
Freaking working out and stuff. I know you've been grinding,
Yeah,
bro.
I've not been working
Well,
out, but like,
we put that on pause for a bit, but
yeah, definitely. Like my coach, like hates me for
Yeah.
pausing that.
but dude, it shows, and now you can get back on track. But like, it shows, man. I mean, there's
And I
what
feel
2,000
like
people
now
playing right now.
that the grind is over, I can also like, I can now do the healthy grind, right? Like when you take care of your mind and body, and then you get also more productive in work. Like, so I'm gonna like try to like follow that path now a little bit more, where like we do a good balance, and then like quality is gonna be high too, right? Like,
Yeah, it'll show.
Introduce some boundaries to my life. Like I already told my coach, I'm gonna like new rule is don't work on Sundays anymore.
Oh, I love that.
She said, you know, maybe you want to add Saturdays to that too, and I'm like, let's not overdo it, right? Like,
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But yeah, I'm just smiling talking about this because like it's so much fun. I really found my calling with developing games, and like it's amazing that I can do this full time.
Bro, that's the dream, bro. That's the dream, man.
I smile from one ear to the other talking about it, right? Like, and
I want to be like where you're at, and I'm dude, I love it. Dude, I mean, I guess like in closing, especially from the community and from the gamers, and I could speak on behalf of the gaming industry, like, dude, one, I just appreciate this update and like what you're doing, and like just from the game perspective, like it added so much, and I feel like people are gonna have so much fun, and like it could already like stand on its own 2 feet and like stand the test of time because it's pushing the industry. But the two, to show devs like you know, like you're doing things that are like familiar, but like you're pushing the industry and doing new things, and the game is daring and treading its own water. But also just to thank you personally for like giving me a chance to kind of like jump on the ship and like taking me aboard, I guess, and giving me a chance. Because like if you didn't give me the ear, right, and you were just like, like I'm good, and you were like you like, you know, you were good, you were in a good place, so you didn't have to, but you took a chance and you were like, you know what, I'm in a good place right now, my game is successful, but I still want to let's hear what this guy has to say, right? Let's still try him out. And you gave me an ear, and because you gave me that chance, I got to show you what I can do. And after that first conversation, I love that like you put your trust in me after that, because you, after that first night where you got to sleep on it, you were lit the hell up, and you were like, holy crap, like you were a believer after that. And I said that before we got to meet and become friends, where I was like, dude, Ruby, like if I ever make you a believer, like you're gonna be like my ultimate like billboard. And so to look at it now, I don't know, a year later, it's like more than like a believer, but like, I don't know, it just means a lot that you took me on board to like give me an ear. But then now that you trust me, and now that the work is showing for itself, hey, this work matters, I guess. Again, for those people that are still trying to make it and be in a position like you are, where like we just get to keep doing what we love, like I don't know, it's just like an ultimate billboard, I guess. The work shows for itself, and like I appreciate you for like giving me a chance.
Yeah, no.
Like it means so much, man. It really does.
Means a lot to me too. And like, I mean, not just your like Game Doctor is amazing. Okay, we established that in like the entire stream, but just like you and your co-workers, like the entire indie scene, like it's amazing that you guys play these like small games from passionate people, and like you do it for free, like every day, and like you give exposure to like unknown developers, and like that's absolutely amazing, right? Like this entire, like there's so many games that wouldn't stand a chance without like your work, and I'm so thankful for that, and like so many other developers are thankful for that too, and like it's like crazy. Yeah.
No, dude, thank you so much for saying that.
Like, question for the dev whenever they get a chance: is 30 the max amount of upgrade points? 30 is right now the maximum level, but as I said, if I add more to the tree, there might be more points in the future. So, and with might, I mean, it's very likely.
I love that. Yeah, one of the things we wanted to do, I remember when we talked about it, is like we want you to like go down a talent tree and make choices. It wasn't supposed to be like something where like, just max this out, get everything. Like it's interesting because you have to make choices. And that's what's so great about it. So then when he grows on it, and then he can add more points, and then it gets even more interesting. It's like, oh man. So good.
I think that I learned with the new characters in Tiny Rogues is that it's kind of like, at some point it's fun to break things. So like all the basic characters of Tiny Rogues are very simple. They have simple passive abilities. They kind of work still, you know, like you feel like a ranger, you feel like a cowboy, whatever. But and so with the mastery system, when I tell you right now there's 30 points and I don't want you to max it out, there might be a point in like 1.0 where you can do like a secret and do this quest chain, and then like you can go into creative mode and like I don't know, maybe
go
after
crazy.
you defeat the Matrix, you're actually like the overlord of the game, and then you can spec the entire passive tree at once. Like I don't know yet, right? Like there is so many possibilities, and then when I eventually maybe do something like that in the future, it's gonna feel so much cooler and hit so much harder, because right now it's limited. So let's just like enjoy the ride together, and like there is gonna be so many things that like I can break in the future, you know, like you make rules in games, so then you can break them, so then it feels awesome, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great question, Frost. But yeah, to double back on what you said, man, like it's really cool that you gave a shout out to all my coworkers, my the content creators out there that do what I do, or not even just do what I do, but like do what they do, and to like bring light to, I mean, I guess we could speak for the indie space, right? These are devs that a lot of times they're not good at advertising. They just don't know how to do it, or it's expensive. And so we're bringing light to obviously the genre that I love, which is the games that don't have the voices, right? Like bring light and be a voice to the games that don't have voices. And you know how many successful games, like how many games that became successful. Look at Among Us, look at all these games that become successful because of us being where we are, because we are doing what we do. So don't let anybody think, like, I know there's been a lot of conversations, especially around Twitter over the last couple months, where it's just like, you know, it doesn't matter, it's just like how many viewers you have or this or that. But like, no, the content creators is what brings community together. And a lot of times, because we're enjoying these games, the community around it wants to keep enjoying, because they feel like they, you know, because the content creator and the community around them is enjoying a product, it feels like we're all enjoying it together, so they want to dive into the game more too. Like, I can't tell you how many times I play something and it's like, oh my god, because you've been playing it, I want to pick it up, and then I've been playing it too. And because that's how you foster a community, you want to enjoy it with other people. It's the act of sharing something together. And so because we have a community and we can share it together, that's what's so important. We all want to share what we're excited about, and we all want to share that with someone. So that's why it's so important. It's not just the numbers, it's creating a process together. So yeah, to piggyback off that, man, it is really cool. And I have so many amazing coworkers that, you know, and the Retros and Alexas and Old Man and Celerity and a lot of homies that, you know, play a lot of these indies and stuff. And it's so awesome. We're playing the smaller games that don't have voices, you know what I mean? So it's really awesome. It's really cool. Yeah, shout outs to that. And I'm glad you brought that up, man. Hell yeah. Well, dude, in closing, man, thank you so much for freaking doing this. I'm sure we're gonna have you on the air more. Like let's have you on the air more when I'm playing this game, like non-official, so we can actually like drool over the run and stuff like that. I know today's been all over the place, but there's just so much to talk about, from the making of the update to like who you are and like what you've been doing, and then also trying to fit in enjoying the run. Like, I think that's a testament to the game and like how kind of like how big it is, how awesome it is, and like how many moving parts it has now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's truly incredible, dude. And I know you're like somewhat on a vacation, so I double appreciate you taking the time for us to be able to do this, and you be able to interact with the community and stuff, you know?
I mean, I thrive here. I love that you like let me on the stream and we like can hang out here, banter, answer some questions, talk about the design. Just like, yeah, like I can also like,
dude, it's incredible. Yeah, that's incredible. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, I don't want to keep you. I know you're on vacation. I'm gonna do some shopping too, so we'll wrap things up. But dude, just thank you again, man. Like the fact that you said there's 2,000 people playing.
Do you do hosts? Can I be so?
Yeah. What do you have? You have a good target? You want to DM me the link? Or
yeah,
something?
yeah. Like, do you know Old Man Sethos?
I love Old Man.
He's gonna be sponsored soon to play.
Oh,
today.
Is that today?
Yeah, and he's just went online, so like might be
dude, I'll send it that way, because we're already homies. I haven't rated him in forever, so I'm so glad you said that.
Perfect.
Dude, thank you so much again for having me. I know we're gonna be talking more. We talk so much now, but yeah, dude, definitely. just to do this space like publicly and hang out and just have a good time and interact. Like, this is why you do the hard work, is so that we can appreciate it after. So this is just as important as the hard work, is appreciating the work after. And so I'm glad that we can make that space to kind of share that together. Hell yeah. All right, man. Cheers. Guys, can we get some hype in the chat, please, for Ruby coming on the air and hanging out with y'all? And I know all of y'all have been doing nothing but drooling over this update over the last couple of weeks. Dude, you guys have been going crazy, and we freaking love hearing it. Dude, Ruby, thank you so much again, man.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Dude, freaking incredible chats. Dude, in closing, let's get some hype. Dude, how freaking amazing was that? Let's go to the title screen while we like wrap things up here. I want to keep playing, by the way, chat, but I've been so wrapped up in all the cool streams and this update over the last week that I haven't really done any Christmas shopping or anything. I'm a mess. I'm actually a hot mess. Dude, but like, man, it's just so cool. Like, because I know how hard this guy's been grinding. But as a consumer, so I have the consumer shoes of like enjoying the update. And it being one of the craziest updates I've ever seen consumer-wise, not just because I help, but like, chat, you need to realize that like a lot of updates that you get, and a lot of you won't understand this if you're not like plugged in, but this is why I'm trying to show you guys a new light. A lot of updates that you get is just very vanilla sprinkles, as I call it. Now, there's nothing wrong with sprinkle updates, but when it's just sprinkles, and once you notice it, you can't unnotice it. And what I call sprinkles is like, yo, look at our massive update. We added a new boss. Look at our massive update, and we added 2 new artifacts, right? But if you realize in the grand scheme of things that like that one boss and that roguelike is something that you're going to see once a run for 15 to 20 seconds, unless it's like a poor modern take on bosses, which again is like 5 minutes of the same patterns over and over. Only people that watch me will understand that joke, but it's not like a big update, right? But to fundamentally improve every aspect of the game. So what I said is like ripping out the carpet and fundamentally making the game better. And I always say the updates that get me the most excited is a fundamental update, because it makes every part of the game feel better. Not just one new item that you're going to find once every 10 runs. It's every part of the game is going to feel better, right? It's like, and so to get that times 50 here, it's incredible. We don't get this often. This is a free update. This could have easily been a whole game. The last time I said that was the Monolith DLC. The Monolith DLC made it Monolith 2. It feels like that. It's goated. It's definitely going to go down in the books. You know what I mean? Anyway, so it's just been so incredible, guys. Thank you so much for thank you guys so much for coming through and participating and interacting. Please leave a review if you pick up the game or you didn't leave a review yet. Talk about the update, leave a review. I know a lot of you people that maybe found the game through here or found it through one of my coworkers. Leave a review and mention them, or leave a review and mention me and say, hey, I found it from so-and-so, because every bit of support helps. Remember, just like supporting indie devs and leaving reviews, support your content creators. RubyDev brings up a great point where we're over here trying to make voices for the games. We're over here trying to bring community to these games, and I could speak for other people. I know they work so freaking hard to bring you that content. Especially like YouTubers and stuff, they're making YouTube content like Retro and all of them. I could tell you firsthand that there's no way I could be able to do that. I don't know how they do it, to be honest. It's insane. So if you appreciate that content, guys, leave them the reviews, leave them a comment, because they see all of that. I could say for me, it feels so good when I see that kind of stuff, or a person tweeting out about the channel or about me. It lasts for weeks. Like, we read it or we see it, and all week we remember that, and we're like lit up about it. It matters. So we work hard for every single dollar, and we don't make enough. It's really bad. It's really bad to be sustainable. So every bit of support helps. I'll be that voice. Every bit of support. Ask for an affiliate link. Leave a word of mouth. Review anything or any support. It means the world to us that you guys do that. We notice. I can speak for myself, especially being very community driven. All of you guys that come in with the kind words or the energy or hang out here, man, it sticks with me. That's why and that's why I remember you guys when you come in. It really does stick with us. It really does stick with us. So thank you guys so much. Anyway, let me stop blabbering. Thank you guys. I hope I was an okay host. I did have a slight headache today, but I was also just really excited to like chat about the Game Doctor. I get very passionate about it. And to like hype up RubyDev and like all the work that he's been doing with this update. I know he's been working really hard. And also you got to remember that I'm really excited because this is the project that I was allowed to work the most on. Most people that have been coming to me so far, it's been a one-off. And in that one-off, they get infinite value. They tell me this. They get so much value. But for some reason, like, I haven't got to like work a lot on a project. Like, which I want to do. I want to be there monthly for them. So even if it's not just constantly talking, but just being there to like let them keep bouncing off me, and they'll use me as a backboard. And more devs have been doing that. So this was a big opportunity for me because like I got to work months with Ruby, which is a phenomenal. This is what I want to do, and it shows the proof in the pudding. So please forgive me. I get a little bit of hyped and stuff like that.